fellows. This is just for you as we wait for others to join us. Please, may you listen. This is just a song by Katy Perry, and I cannot sing, but I can read, and I'll go through the lyrics. The title is Rise, and it goes, I won't just survive. Oh, you will see me thrive. Can't write my story. I am beyond the archetype. I won't just conform, no matter how you shake my core, cause my roots, they run deep. Oh yeah, of so little faith. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Victory is in my veins. And I know I will not negotiate. I'll fight it. I'll fight it. I'll transform. When there's fires at my feet again, and the vultures all start circling, they are whispering, you're out of time, but still I'll rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. Don't be surprised. I'll still rise. I must stay conscious through the madness and chaos. So I call on my angels. They say, oh, you of so little faith, don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Victory is in your veins. You know it. You know it. Just fight it. Just fight it and be transformed. Because when the fires is at my feet again and the vultures all start circling, they are whispering, you're out of time, but still I rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. Don't be surprised, I'll still rise. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Oh. You know it. You know it. Just fight it. Just fight it. Don't be surprised, I'll still rise. That was a piece from me to you from Katy Perry, and hope you enjoyed the lyrics. You got a message from it. Please, dear graduates, when you get time, you can go through the lyrics because they're really inspirational. Thank you so much. Please, I remind you once again, may you call other graduates who are joining us to hurry because we are about to start. Thank you. Managing Director, the Teach for Uganda Executive Director, Teach for Uganda partners, other dignified guests attending physically and virtually, the Teach for Uganda Cohort 2 Fellows, our dear graduates, Teach for Uganda Fellows of other cohorts, parents, friends, and all protocol observed, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Namharauni, and it's such an honor and a privilege to be before you. I'll be hosting this event. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking beautiful. Thank you so much for sparing your time amidst your busy schedule to attend this great event. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Cohort 2 graduation theme is Reimagining Our Future Through Education Post-Pandemic. I say it again, it is Reimagining Our Future Through Education Post-Pandemic. This great event is streaming live on Teach for Uganda social media platform, that is Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. So our virtual audience, please keep the comments coming, and please like us and share the event. Ladies and gentlemen, here at the hall and attending virtually, we welcome you once again, and I'm requesting you to stand up for an opening prayer and the Uganda National Anthem led by our own quality education and girl child enthusiast fellow, that is Miss Claire Kanyunyuzi. Thank you so much.
Okay, gentlemen and ladies, I'm privileged to be here. Congratulations to co-fellows. Thank you for fighting hard to reach this journey. Let's humble ourselves for a word of prayer. Yeah, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this moment. We thank you for this graduation ceremony. We thank you for whoever is here, and we thank you for whoever is still traveling to reach this place. Father, we place this ceremony into your hands. Let everything that is going to be discussed here, celebrated, thought about, bring joy, peace, and also help the future be brightened for the child of Uganda. I pray all this in Jesus' mighty name. Okay, let's have the national anthem. Oh,
Thank you so much, our own Claire, and please may you all be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the great feelings that had accumulated for months because of this event are coming to reality today, the 10th of December 2021, and it will be marked in history as the day when we witness the graduation of our phenomenal leaders, the cohort 2 fellows who are our graduates today, for their resilience and leadership potential amidst the storms plus fire for the 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please be reminded that the theme of this event is reimagining our future through education post-pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the month of celebration. The Christians know that this is a month of Christmas, and we all know that usually babies born in December are called Emmanuel or Emanuela. What a great day to start this event with our own Emmanuel Mutaka giving us welcome remarks, introduction of TFU team, and the highlights of invited guests by the end, by one and our only again, Emmanuel Mutaka. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ronnie. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all today. This is the day the Lord has made. Let's please clap and appreciate God for. Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Mutaka, the alumni officer, Teach for Uganda. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I want to say thank you and you are welcome. For the guests that have accepted our invite to be here, and all the graduates for being here, very smart. Thank you so much for being smart for this day, because it is your day. Thank you so much. I'll take this opportunity to introduce the team that we worked with to have this event a success. I want to request the team, Teach for Uganda team, to please stand up. Teach for Uganda team. Wherever you are, just stand up. We have guests here, so they would like to know the team that we work with. The Teach for Uganda team, yes. Okay. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the team that we work with. Miss Charlotte here is our managing director. Mr. James Kasaga, our executive director. The gentleman on my right, far right, is our administrative assistant called Fred Mbazira. Please wave to us, Fred. Good. And then Miss Diana Rose is our human resource and admin. Hi, Diana. And then the gentleman there is David Okelo Moses, our head of programs. And the gentleman there, a.k.a. Mr. Kabuti, is our Leadership Development Officer, Dennis Kinyera. Our Recruitment Selection and Matriculation Officer, Joram Mukiza. Thank you. And then we have Mr. Omoya Charles Oyet, Leadership Development Officer. That is just part of the team that is here. We have more that are watching online to see that this is a success. So thank you so much, team. That's the team we worked with to have this event here where it is. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to recognize some guests that are here with us. We have Miss Doreen Mbazira from Ernst & Young. She's the Senior Associate and HR Admin. You're most welcome, madam. We do have Abbas Mpindi. Yes, Abbas is the CEO of Media Challenge Initiative, a youth-driven non-profit building the next generation of journalists. And he will be our moderator today for the panel discussion. You're most welcome, Abbas. We have Mr. Mayanja. Mr. Mayanja was here and he's just stepped out a bit. He's the country manager, DHL, our partner as well. We do have Nachimbugwe Patricia. I saw her coming in, Patricia. Yes, Patricia is our alumni, as well as a social entrepreneur. You're most welcome, Patricia. We do have Brian Ahabwe, the CEO of Spanora Media, the team that is behind the live streaming and all the technical side. You're most welcome, Brian. Thank you so much, and the team. We appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our guest of honor today, Mr. Mchivi Andrew. You're most welcome. You'll get to hear more about him. We are expecting more guests, so we shall introduce them as they come in. But please, this is your day. We thank God and we thank you for the great work you're doing for this nation, wherever you have been. Let this just be the beginning, because we have the Alumni Association now. As we cross over from the fellowship, let's join the Alumni Association that is nearly completion. The registration is nearly complete. We continue advocating for the rights of the children through the Alumni Association. Thank you so much and enjoy the day.
Thank you so much, Emma. May we give him a warm clap? Ladies and gentlemen, the next item is very important for us all here and those attending virtually. Therefore, we request for your maximum attention as we view a short documentary that vividly exhibits the Teach for Uganda work. And after, we shall welcome the Teach for Uganda Head of Programs, Mr. David Moses Okello, to supplement. Thank you so much.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor because they save our lives.
At Teach for Uganda, we believe that all children deserve an excellent education. We know this through the story of Francis, who is the first child in his school to score a first grade in the last 20 years.
When I received the information that our results are back, I was very, very, very happy because I got a first grade.
Francis represents a world we want to create for our children in Uganda and in Africa.
As a Teach for Uganda fellow, I was deployed to a rural community. This gave me the chance to interface firsthand with the challenges that children, especially girls, go through. The challenges of forced labor, forced marriage, rape, among other things. Teach for Uganda empowered me with the skills, the attitudes, and the mindset to challenge these injustices in communities, on the need for parents and communities to support their children, especially the girls, to stay and complete school.
Our parents and head teachers understand the Teach for Uganda belief that runs through these impact stories. This is the support system we need to thrive.
Bonna nabeebaza Nimbagamba beebale nnyo beebale ddala omulimu ogwo gwe bakoze. Mukama abayambe byonna ebakoze byonna ayibaddizeewo byonna bye bamukoledde.
As an organization that trains people, teachers and those who are not teachers but interested in being teachers for 2 years, for us we think that's very important, because as pedagogical leaders we shall have added on the group of leaders that we can have in the ministry, that we can have in other organizations that support ministry, that we can have in schools, that we can have at any level.
At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the team came together to innovate to ensure that our children were learning. We created 3 programs: the community cluster learning pods that ensured that one fellow spaced out with their masks with 5 to 10 children are learning within their village. We created the digital learning initiative, the first of its kind in Uganda, in rural communities, to ensure that when children return to school, they are quickly learning through the digital learning platforms. And the tele-learning initiative that has been created recently to ensure that we are engaging the parents and the children together at home, so that when the schools reopen, they're able to return safely and engaged in learning as they normally do.
The Teach for Uganda fellowship for me gave me an opportunity to challenge myself as a leader, to get out of my comfort zone as a leader, and to be able to influence so many teachers, so many children during my fellowship and even now after my fellowship. It also gave me an opportunity to network and create strong relationships with the teachers at my school, with the teachers of different schools, with the co-fellows, and I created a bond with so many of them that everything I do right now, it feels like a family for me. And it's thanks to the networks that I'm able to continue advocating for education, equity and inclusion where I am right now at Clark Junior School.
And that's the work we do. That's why we wake up every single day believing that with your support, one day all children in Uganda will attain an excellent education.
Protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, my task is to summarize what we've just watched in the video, and that speaks to the work that we do at Teach for Uganda. And so when you hear the story, it speaks to our vision as Teach for Uganda, where whatever we do aspire that one day that all the children in Uganda will attain an equitable but also quality education. And so that is part of the story and the journey that Francis shared with us in the video. But also importantly is about our target. We are very deliberate to make sure that we cater for issues of inclusion. So you realize that in terms of the targeting, we focus more on children in low-income communities. Some people call them rural areas, but would love to say children in low-income communities, because even in urban areas, you have such situations where people or some communities live in low income. And also you realize that we have experiences from our fellows and the graduates tonight that have been able to take us through some of their experiences in the communities that they were placed for the last 2 years. And so it's part of the story that we've been able to hear in that video. And then we will be able to continue hearing more stories, but also when we have the panel discussion, they will be able to share with us some of their experiences. We also from that video see that as Teach for Uganda, we focus more on investing in mindset change among our fellows. So we deliberately do that because we want the fellows, once they get to the communities, to create impact in the lives of children, but also to propose some adjustments within the communities that they go. And that is the transformative agenda that we do aspire at Teach for Uganda. Still within the video, you realize that there are aspects of parental engagement that we put priority at Teach for Uganda, where our fellows, when they are placed in communities, we have an expectation for them to engage with parents for us to attain holistic programming in education. In addition to that, the partnership that we saw from the Ministry of Education, but also cascading down to the districts and the communities that we work with, is something which we pride about because it gives us the leverage to implement our programs in a partnership manner. And so we strongly support the partnership approach in the delivery of our programs. We invest quite a lot in making sure that the fellows and the graduates that we have for tonight's occasion, that they are able to grow into leadership. And so we do expect that they are going to undertake different pathways after today's event and will be able to cause impact in the lives of children, but also in the communities wherever they will be working. We have also been able to do quite a lot in terms of COVID adaptation. We've been able to run initiatives like we saw in the video, the digital learning initiatives, the community cluster learning pods, the telephone learning initiative, where we were able to conduct lessons for some of our children who were locked within their communities and were unable to get back to school. We were able to bridge the divide, the digital divide that exists between children who study in urban areas using digital platforms like online learning. So we're able to bridge that using the tele-learning initiative, the digital learning, and as well as the community cluster learning pods that we've been able to see in the video. But also others, as the fellows will be, or the graduates will be sharing their experiences, we will be able to see them. So we've been able to be an adaptive organization in the face of COVID-19. And lastly is about creating impact. We saw the story of Francis, the joy after receiving the results when they were released. And so that is part of the impact that we have created in the communities. And also we've been able to challenge some of the structural issues within the schools that we place our fellows. And so that is the journey that Teach for Uganda has walked through, which has been summarized in this video. I thank you very much, and I congratulate the graduates for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for those great insights. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remember what David said. He said, one day all children in Uganda will attain a quality and equitable education. That's the aim of Teach for Uganda. And thank you for adapting. Teach for Uganda, thank you for adapting. And amidst the COVID challenges, and you say you had digital learning, tele-learning, and cluster learning pods, which leads us to our theme of the day, reimagining our future through education post-pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for David and Teach for Uganda. Next on our agenda are testimonial videos from the key stakeholders from the Teach for Uganda areas of placement, Please, I request for your attention as you enjoy and learn. Thank you.
Amannya agange nze Maria Nalwoga. Mpangalidde mu kitundu bamuyita kyalo bakiyita Kyevunze. Kale mu nsomesa y'abaana bange badde basomesa bulungi nga badde bankwatiddeko bulungi ku bantu bange naddala nga kulaasi Nsoyo Kirinnya by'okukozesa bitabo ng'ebyo kalaamu peeni byetaagisa byonna kwegamba nga badde bannyamba. Ensomesa ennungi ne Madamu Lecho naye nga bakola bulungi batuna basomesa bonna. Era Kirinnya oyo bwe yakola obulungi anfuna first grade kale kati basobola okusanyuka abasomesa ne bamusanyusa bulungi nnyo kati ne basobola okwagala okumutwala ogenda okukola kyokumwongera mbadde nkyagala Uganda eyongera okuweereza mu kitundu kyange baweereza ku kitundu kyange manya nti n'abaana bange baba beeyongera okusoma okutimuka okugenda n'omutindo.
Thank you so much, Spanora team. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the CEO of Media Challenge Initiative and the co-founder, Mr. Abbas Pindi, as he leads us to the next item. Please may you put your hands together as he comes in front. The next item has been uniquely organized to have a panel conversation where graduates share insights of community projects and how they kept children learning amid this COVID-19 pandemic, school closures. Thank you so much. Over to you, Abbas.
All right. Good morning. As I have been introduced, my name is Abbas Impindi. I work as the CEO of Media Challenge Initiative. I'm going to be moderating a session, but I really want to first tell you a story about me and Teach for Uganda and GEMS. Yeah. So I run an organization called Media Challenge Initiative, and what we do there is really this idea of believing that journalism can make the world a better place. So James and I met at an organization called Global Health Corps, and my first interaction with him was the inspiration and energy that he had to really, having stayed in the US, to come back here in Uganda and start Teach for Uganda. And so the earlier conversations around starting this organization, I was there as a listener and also as a friend to sort of like give like support. But I was also coming from a space of entrepreneurship, as I had also been working on Media Challenge Initiative. So I've seen Teach for Uganda grow. I've seen the cohorts come. I've seen Charlotte and James really move the needle forward to where it is. So I really want us to first and foremost clap for those two leaders of our times, because it takes a lot of energy and resilience to step away from our daily jobs that could give us money to focus on an organization like Teach for Uganda. Now they have like a team of, 20. So yeah, so it's been a great journey. I work at Media Challenge Initiative, like I said, and one of our driving forces every day, we say journalism can make the world a better place. I have a quote that I know which will kickstart our panel that James likes, which is by Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Yeah? Nelson Mandela. And today our panel is, as you can see, reimagining our future through education post-pandemic. The panelists that I'm going to invite here, I don't even have the position. I shouldn't be the one, because I've been looking. I don't know how many of you have looked at this book, ladies and gentlemen, but here are very, very powerful stories that I could say each and every one of the graduates today should be here on the panel with me, but because we have limited time, we can't have everyone. So I will go through their sort of bios quickly and see that we can invite. So the first one is Fiona Price Mukisa. So as I'm inviting you, please just walk here. Let's clap for Fiona, everyone. One of the things that is really a big highlight for me in your bio is that she has worked on a Feed Us project, teaching children how to grow vegetables. And she's done it like sort of a pilot, small scale, in the community where she was. So she'll be telling us more about that. Thank you so much for the good work. And then we have Esther Chevijira. Sorry about that. Esther is also an amazing human being. And one of the things that we must celebrate here about her is she celebrates 80% girl-child retention in her school. For me, that is super powerful. Esther, I don't know how you do it, but I hope you can tell us later. We have Ivan Samuel Womala. Ivan Samuel, please clap for us. And the biggest highlight in his bio is that Ivan will be remembered for winning 2 global awards. One, the Global Educators Award, and the Best African Climate Video Award. Please. This video was also featured on COP26 Leaders Summit. Clap for this gentleman. And then we have Oroma Kenneth. Oroma is all about tech, and he will also be telling us how he's been able to mobilize the communities using technology. All right. Should I use this? Okay. Just press here. Good morning, guys. How are you? So first things first, I want to ask you, when you are applying for the Teach for Uganda Fellowship, what was that one, I would say, pickup line or one rhetoric that you say, that was the statement that could have won you this fellowship? I'm asking you that question because I want to see the journey that you've taken through your application. Sometimes we apply for fellowships and we have a lot of rhetoric in there. But if you can remember, what's that one promise in your application that still stands out today? I will start with you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. The most important and insightful moment for me is I promise myself, even when it gets hard, for the 2 years, I'm not going to look at Kampala. I'm fully committed in Mayuge, and I fulfilled it.
So when you were applying, you knew that you're going to be in Mayuge and you'll stay there?
They put it in the guidelines.
Okay.
The highlight is no clean running water, no electricity. So I knew what I was going for.
You knew what you were signing up for?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Esther, what was it in your application that you included that could have won the hearts of Teach for Uganda for you to end up there?
Thank you so much, moderator. When they say one day all children will attain a quality and inclusive education, this means girls are a part of the picture. We all accept that women and girls make up the largest population in this country. And we also agree that uneducated women folk is a good force for holistic development. What kept me in there is the need to ensure that we have girls who will drive sustainable development in their communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Please clap for Esther, guys. Yes, Fiona, what was it that you included in your application? At least also, how does that still stand out in your work now, and how you'll continue to move with that forward?
Thank you. One of the most important things that still works out for me till now, I was going to help a rural child. because I've grown up in the village. I went to UPE schools, I went to youth schools. So I wanted to be an inspiration to the girls and boys in the village there. And indeed, I have been. They now have restored their hope. They know they can be in the villages, study in the villages, but come out to be important people, like how I was in the village.
Thank you so much, Fiona. Yes, sir. Same question.
So, while I was applying for the Teach for Uganda fellowship,
Feel free to get closer to the microphone. You can pull the chair forward.
What attracted me most was the phrase creating a movement of young leaders. And because I had trained as a teacher from my university education, I saw myself transitioning from the usual normal teachers that we see in our school systems, somebody that has been teaching in school for the last 33 years, has content by head, and that is what they are proud of. And I saw myself transitioning from that journey to a journey of a leader that would determine the path the education system takes as a country, and somebody that would come up with policies that would guide these teachers into creating greater change and making the country a better place.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kenneth. I'll continue with you, Kenneth, because we're talking about reimagining education post-pandemic. I know that when you went into the boot camp, it was pandemic times, and you continue. I mean, we didn't even stop this fellowship. You continue to go to the communities. How was that experience for you, and how were you able to continue supporting children in the communities and make sure that the vision of Teach for Uganda continues, but also those children in your communities have access to you and have access to classes? Please.
When I had just joined the fellowship, I, together with my learners, set up goals that we knew that we would achieve in order to have better outcomes for these children. And when we had just started on the journey towards these goals and set clear path that we were going to follow at the beginning of 2020, a few months into first term, that's when schools got locked down. And we had so much based on our time in school to reach these goals, and there was no way we would just stop and look at it and just let it go and forget about our goals. So one of the things that we really worked on so much on the first lockdown, when we stayed in these communities and were carrying out the community learning clusters that every other fellow was carrying out in their different communities, meeting these learners on a daily basis in their different small groups to make sure that, one, they do not only continue to see the faces of teachers, but they continue to work towards goals that we had set together. They continue working towards achieving through school and continuing on to attain a higher education. And one of the things that personally and my colleague did in my community in order to make sure that these learners continue interacting with teachers and stay on track to achieving these goals we had set together is we continued meeting them daily through football sessions, because it is schools are closed down. You have to motivate them to come to you. So if they are coming to play soccer, at the end of it all, you've planned your session in order to equip them with the other
social distanced football?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't social distanced football, but we planned it in smaller groups. Instead of playing 11 aside games, you're playing children with 5 aside games. And then after that, you're meeting them in their communities, you're meeting their parents, you're meeting local leaders to make sure that even the factors in the communities that we have seen happen in other communities, children getting pregnant, we made sure that we eliminated these other factors by interacting with community leaders, parents, and engaging the different stakeholders. And I'm very happy to report here that among all my learners, unlike what was being reported in the different communities of children getting pregnant, there is no single girl that got pregnant throughout the pandemic. And very hopeful that even when schools open, all my children will come back to school without a bigger gap like we have seen happening in many other communities where this hasn't happened.
Thank you so much. I know we've been having a lot of like disturbing statistics around teenage pregnancy, and it's good to hear that you're using community engagement tools and sports to make sure that the girls stay in school. So thank you for that. Fiona, if you could also tell us, for purposes of people online and also the guests here, to know which community you were in, but also your bio talks about Feed Us project. How did that, for you, your experience in the pandemic as a teacher, but also how you managed to use that project to make change in the community?
Thank you. The Feed Up project comes as an inspiration from a story. When we had just reported in Mitimito.
Tell us where you are placed?
Yes, in Mitimito.
Geographically.
Community. Okay. So I was placed at Mitimito Primary School in Mayuge district. So the first day in my room, I didn't have friends. I didn't know anyone. So it was hard for me to move out because I was still getting used to the environment. As I peeped through my door, I see a child running out with a bowel, pours water from a jerry can, then adds salt. Then the other like that. After doing that, they rushed back to the house. The first time I didn't really take it so much, but I saw it happening like thrice. Then I got so concerned. I moved out and picked. They were having a meal. And you know the meal? Millet bread. So this water and the salt was the salt.
Millet bread and salt.
Water from the jerry can, then they add salt. Okay. So that was the sauce. So after realizing this, I was really touched. And I made, together with my co-fellow George, we made a research, because when I saw that, I called him and I was like, you know what? I've seen this and this happen. So we had to move around. Together with our pupils, we used our pupils and realized that people say they don't have the land to grow vegetables for themselves, and even the food is scarce because they don't have land. So we thought of means of how we could help out, and that is how the Feed Us campaign came up. So just even before we began the Feed Up project, the pandemic hit. So it was put on hold. But still where we weren't settled because we knew the situation. So we knew that people's are home, so we knew they didn't have what to eat. Remember, sometimes they're at school and then they play around, they go home and have that one meal. But sitting in one place at home and then you're not having a meal, because we realized that 7 out of 10 families that we went to have a single meal a day. So we were forced to go back to the community during that pandemic, and we began a pilot garden at my rented house just in front. We began growing vegetables. It was a pilot because we wanted to see whether it would work out if we did that. So we sampled out a few pupils, like around 20. There were 20 families. So we got the pupils, P4, P5. We also didn't know a lot into the agricultural thing, but we Googled a lot. And then most of the times I would put my phone with one of the pupils, looking around some videos on how to grow tomatoes. We would watch together. And then I tell her, you know what? When I forget tomorrow, you remind me. And it really worked out. By August 2020, we were feeding so many families. We had plenty of tomatoes just from that small garden in front. We used sacks, we used old clothes, old plastic cutouts, and it was really a great thing to us because we fed our families. We fed even the school, even the head teacher would come and get tomatoes, and it was really great. So that is why we decided that in our end of year fellowship project, we would expand. And indeed, we've expanded. We went to 43 families. Now, even the children themselves are growing their food. Like they have kitchen gardens, and it is doing well. We're amused by one of our pupils who has over 2 acres now of vegetables, and is ready to take care of
this. Please, let's clap for this milestone, because it's, and I mean, I wanted to ask the state of your garden right now. What vegetables are there?
Right now,
yes,
each child has a garden.
Okay.
The other time, it was only in front of my home. But right now, each child has a garden. Even when you have a small piece of land, you have to have a garden. That is it. Like, it's our culture now. They have sukuma wiki, they have dodo, they have tomatoes, eggplants. At least we bought a variety. And now we know it is sustainable, because if they get the tomatoes, they can use the seeds to plant and get more.
Okay, we'll come back to this. So from the Feeders project, Esther, you celebrate 80% retention, but also I know that from my earlier conversations with you, you were able to mobilize around 3 million to invest in a pad project. So if you could tell us where you placed and really how that journey was for you as well, so that people can get context of that Teach for Uganda is also just not about education, but you go beyond. Yeah.
Thank you so much, moderator. Unlike most of us here, I was lucky to have done my fellowship in 2 different communities. In 2019, I moved to Kalagala Primary School. That's about 30 kilometers off Mayuge town. And when I reached this school, 2 girls sat primary living examinations in 2019 out of 98 that started primary 1, as the school records indicated. Also, I was teaching primary 4 and 5. In primary 5, we had 11 pupils. In primary 4, we had 22. When I and my co-fellows tried to look into this, we realized that there were so many hindrances. One of the biggest being issues around menstruation. Menstrual stigma around school, a lot of misconception around menstruation. For example, when a girl starts to menstruate, they are ready for marriage, or a girl is unclean while menstruating, so they should not come to school. For this reason, girls were always absent, girls were dropping out of school, girls were being married off. When the pandemic hit in the first lockdown, one of our girls in primary 7 got married. And for that reason, we had to take action. We went back into the community and led a project dubbed Let Kalagala Study. We went door to door to talk to parents on the need for them to keep their children safe and how to keep them safe, having regular conversations with them. We used local radios in these villages where most of us are. You find that a center has kind of a megaphone where you can talk and a big number of people listen. So we went in there and talked to these people. We camped along the path and talked to passers-by, wrote on manilas and told people to protect the children, especially the girls. We also raised money and taught girls to make reusable pads. With our first training, we had 100 girls, and in a survey that we did in April 2021, at least each of these girls has gone out there to train 10 other girls to make the pads. And I'll gladly report to you that when the second lockdown hit, in primary 5, we had 25 learners. We started with 11, we had 25, and in primary 4, we had 48 from the 22 we started with. That's like almost 100% increment in the number of learners. Second to that is that we really engage the boys in these conversations around having the girls stay in school. Not just the boys, even the men out there, because oftentimes we let this be a girl thing. Most of us, not me alone, have had to really engage the boys and the men outside there to protect girls. And when I mentioned earlier, I said that one of our girls was pregnant and married, but I'll also report to you that the same girl came back to school and sat primary living examinations. When school resumed, she will go back to school to senior 1. She has a baby. You talked about the campaign of raising 3 million shillings. So during the second lockdown, all of us were out of our teaching communities. I was in Kwen district, that's where I come from. And there, the teenage pregnancies were alarming. According to a report run by NTV back there, Between April and July, Kwen District reported around 2,700 teenage pregnancies. I was at home and I couldn't just look at this. So we ran a fundraiser, the Pad for Kwen. Our idea was, let's have some pads as an initiative, as incentive, for us to go and meet the girls. When we go with the pads, they will come to us and we will talk to them. We will share our stories. So we raised money, bought the pads, went to the 12 sub-counties in Kwen, distributed pads to 1,000 girls in the entire district, engaged local leaders, engaged religious leaders, engaged some parents to talk to these girls. Yes.
Wow. Do you have plans to run for office? Because I think
the mission is to create a movement of leaders. So what the future holds, we'll go for it.
Okay. So you're saying never say never. All right. Sir, your story is gracing COP26, but you are placed somewhere in, where were you placed?
Biula. That's around about 8 kilometers away from my gate.
Okay, teach us, some of us, how do we get a story from Biula, Biula, right, to COP26? Just briefly, in like 1 minute. Your experience and how we can, how did you manage to get this story there?
Thank you. Sometimes when I hear such statements, I get emotional. You see, those insightful leaders seated there, James and the team, I would say even if we had the belief, but they ignited the fire that took us there. I went to the field knowing there is nothing bigger than me. I can make it. You're asking about this video. I just have a simple phone. I don't have an iPhone. But that phone with that rural learner who has never even crossed Mayuge town, actually doesn't know the main road, he made it to the global stage. Why? It's because what they instilled in us were like a pipe that was carrying water, and we preached the same message, not by words like our leaders today do, but by taking action, showing them how to. And in the end, it's always God's glory. We got there.
Okay, so thank you. I mean, speaking about God, we also, because today we want to really reimagine the future. And I want, as spiritual as I am, I still want to not bother God today. So I want you guys to be bothered with this question. I mean, starting with you, sir. So what do you see? You are done with your fellowship. What next? Are you going to now go back and chill? Because, I mean, we have arrived. We've been at COP26. We made it. Celebrations. What next? The fire that James and Charlotte and the whole team has ignited in us, where does that take us? So if you could shape for us, if you close your eyes every morning, where do you see this thing going, as Ugandans say?
Thank you, moderator. I want to assure everyone in this house and online today that this graduation, most of you may think it's the end of the movement, but it's just the first step. Why do I say that? It's because we are not here for conversations, but we're here to give testimonies of the experiences we have lived, the skills we have earned, and the impact. We have showed the world what exactly we can do. And the journey doesn't stop here. Wherever we will be, at any time, once a fellow, always a fellow. And trust me, this is for you, Madam Charlotte. Even when you called me tomorrow morning after graduating, I am ready to serve again.
So Charlotte and James, I guess we need the next cohort, like one. Is it 1 or 2? This is 1 or 1, yeah. So 1 or 2, these guys, we send them back. Esther, what's the future of education? What do you see? Because you're doing a lot of things, but in your capacity or in our capacity as a movement, what are the challenges you've seen on the ground? What are you reimagining? What are the solutions? What are the ideas that you see that this can work and this can change the communities?
Okay, Thank you once again. Throughout my fellowship, I believe that education is not just a fundamental human right, but it's actually the bedrock on which all other human rights rest on. SDG 4 is the foundation for achieving all the other SDGs. And even however much we struggle to have peaceful communities, productive communities, good life underwater, if we don't give people a quality education, we will not achieve the rest of the things. I'll say that again. A quality education to every learner out there is the only sure way we can achieve the rest of the SDGs. And we as fellows have done different things out there, and we've been able to challenge a number of inequalities in our communities. But one thing that came clear to me is that I think it's the high time we start challenging policies around education in this country. We will still have people labor down there to do things, but we will not have the huge impact that we desire. Moving out of here, I think I'll be going into a space with the skills that I've got from Teach for Uganda. I'll be going into a space where I get to challenge some of the policies, where I get some people look at things the way they really are, not the way they want to look at them, and have to rethink some of the policies. Education needs more funding. Education needs more resources. Just when this lockdown came, UNICEF reported that 49% of children in Uganda have not been reached out to. Schools are going to resume. These learners have over 18-month loss. When we resume and we continue the way we've been doing, we will not change a thing. Things have to change. The policies around education have to change. Teacher training has to change. And it's us here in this room and every other person out there that has the task to make sure that we advocate, that we work for this change.
Okay, this statement here, the people who are doing production, please make sure you cut it out and put it on social media so that it can trend for everyone to hear this, yeah? It's a must, eh? Thank you, Esther. Fiona, please clap for Esther, guys. Are we tired? Some coffee, James, eh? Some more coffee. Fiona, what do you see? What should education look like in the next years? What you've tried to do in the community with the projects you've left there, how do you see those ones being sustained there? If you're not there, what is going to work? But I think for me, I want to see your vision as well when it gets to what you see the future of education to look like.
Thank you so much. I'm a teacher by profession and specialized in English literature, language. But as we are studying at university, there's a lot more given to us, a lot of reading, writing, so on, like in classroom. So the future for education, if we are to benefit, if we are to develop our economies, education should go beyond classroom. I remember myself in 2019, just a few months after graduation, I was a teacher, but I was this kind of person who would always lament about issues. If there's a challenge, I would push it far away from me. I'm not responsible. I put in someone else, maybe the government, maybe the parents. I didn't know that we are all responsible for the change we want to see. So what I really want to see is a future of teachers who are trained to see beyond classroom, teachers who mind about all children regardless of where they're coming from, of what they have to offer, but helping children transform as job creators, not job seekers. I don't really think I can fail to get a job myself, to start up something. It's not because I had the foundation, but at least for these 2 years that I've been in this fellowship, I've really seen a great change in my life. Okay. Because right now, I know I can use my hands, I can use my brains, I can use everything around me to to create better opportunities for me and for my children too.
Okay.
So that's the future education I want to see.
Thank you so much. And no more government at Uyambe. Okay. Thank you. But now you know to Uyambe. Sir, what's the role of technology in reimagining education? And I think you have your bio is really full of like how you've been able to at least oversee that in the community. How do you see that play out?
In the community, I didn't make so much great use of technology in the communities I was living in. One, because these communities didn't have the available resources needed needed to access whatever technological devices we need in order for education. However, one special thing that I did while at St. Jude Mwangi in Luwero is we made sure that we were able to set up the first library at the school. We were 2 fellows at the school. We joined the school that had about 8 government teachers, and these teachers have been there for 4 years, but the numbers keep reducing each year. The classes keep reducing each year because by the time we joined, there was no P7. Children were sitting exams in primary 6, and if it had continued that way, there would have been no primary 6 with time. But imagine 2 individuals that have been trained for a month at institute, and in 2 years, you've raised the numbers. You have children that are sitting primary 7 exams now. In our last set, we had 10 children that were sitting primary 7 exams, and currently we had promoted so far 24 children from primary 6 to primary 7. And this, when I look at the question that the others have been answering, the future of education.
Yeah.
Imagine 2 individuals trained for a month and continuous development, and they're able to achieve that. And we have 8 government teachers that have been in these schools for over 20 years. They have been trained.
No offense to government teachers.
They have
Some
been,
of us are government teachers.
They have been trained for this specific period in school, in their different trainings, and you wonder what's the difference between us and these teachers. So it now comes to the different skills that we were able to.
Let me just pick up on that. You come from the background of Teach for Uganda, the fire they ignited in you to a space of like, I would understand where government teachers are coming from, or even just in the communities. What inspiration did you sort of like exchange with the existing teachers in your school who were not Teach for Uganda? Did they kick you out? Did they see you as an enemy of the state? Or enemy of their progress? Or were you able to create synergies so that you build, the school or the education system together?
While in these communities, the statement that I'm sure every fellow was able to interact with is, that's how we also started. That's what the teachers will tell you. That's how we also started. That energy will go away. But when they saw the energy continuously on, and with the support of our leadership development officers, with the support of the team at office, we were able to continue with this energy. And some of these teachers, by the way, were able to take on some of these activities we were doing because the results were visible. You go to a home visit and the teacher tells you you're wasting time, that one won't come back. But at the end of it all, they see the learner coming back to school. Okay. Now, the biggest question is, do we as a country have the capacity to give this energy that we had as fellows to every teacher in our service? And I think that's where, for me, the future comes in. I've seen it. I've gone through the process. I know what I can do to give that teacher that energy, and I'm now best situated, even better than the different people we have in systems today, in systems that even didn't do school practice. But then if you have people like me that have had this training, get into these systems, the future is great. We are going to change this system.
So I guess our dear board, and James and management. We need more TFUs across Uganda, so that we can have synergies across these institutions. I don't know if we have questions on Zoom, but if we do, please share them with me so that I can get to ask those questions. But in the meantime, one of the things that I'm very passionate about is the alumni movement, because if you look at movements like Rotary that have been there for years, and the energy on which they are built is really the alumni, people who have gone through the program. I personally run, a program that is also heavily built afterwards on alumni. There are challenges there. In most cases, and this I'll be very brutally honest with you, you go through these fellowships, you get what you get the shine, you arrive, COP26, and everyone, you have all these projects, they become part of your bio. It's amazing. We celebrate you. But then when it gets back to building the movement, it's not on those, on James and Charlotte and the team. It's on you guys. What is your plan? Do you see yourself engaged in this kind of programming moving forward? Or will Salim and Emma and Diana struggle to call you because, man, you get busy? And I understand totally, you'll get other jobs, you get busy. I'm not putting you on the spot. I really want to hear that same energy that you've brought from the fellowship, because you said once a fellow, always a fellow. So what's the plan, guys? Starting with you. How do you see yourself in the alumni community?
Well, thank you very much.
And you can also call everyone out that they should participate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Moderator, one thing I want to assure you today is this fellowship is life. But even life, when you die, there is life after death.
Yes.
So I would say we are dying today, and we're going to resurrect tomorrow.
I mean, not physically dying.
So one thing I would want to note is we went to these communities as strangers, but we have become part of them.
Yes.
And you can't deny that.
Oh, sorry.
You can't deny the fact. You see by the testimonies that the parents give you, the local leaders give you, and what the world is recognizing. And in the end, you become like a child in a house. I am sure that each one of us here, you may be grown like you look, but when you go back to your father's house, you're still a child. And that's the work of this fellowship.
Okay.
I noted earlier that this is just the beginning of what we are supposed to do. Now, when we transpire to the alumni network, I think it's a continuation of our work.
All right.
Personally, I am working on, actually I was supposed to launch a book about this fellowship, the 2 years experience today.
Oh.
But I'm getting in touch with people, other stakeholders. I think if there is one thing I have mastered and thank my coach for is the power of social connection, collective responsibility, and engaging everyone to know their role in these communities. I have testimonies of very many stakeholders I've worked with, but now that was on a local basis. I'm looking at a national basis. I am working, I am sorry, I didn't seek permission, but I'm working with Dr. Jimmy Spire Sentongo.
Hey.
Yeah, on publication of this book. I wanted to reach the target audience. And who are these people? Our leaders. Because very many times, I am sorry, leaders are supposed to be brutally honest, like you said, right?
Yes, please be.
Our people very many times sit behind the ACs, take the very cold water and make these policies. But they don't know exactly how it feels down there.
Hey,
until you get to the ground, mingle in the experience, know the lives that these people are going through, the policy gaps. I'm a very passionate policy scholar, and I would want to do that at a further level, but I've seen the policy gaps, and this book is meant to inform the leaders that are the front line of drafting, implementing, and making sure these policies work for the benefit of the common man.
we're running out of time, but I wanted to remind you that you can enjoy the AC and still go to the community, like we are doing, eh?
I doubt that.
I mean, you are here with us. The AC is here, we are enjoying, but we still go to the community and do the work.
Sorry to
okay,
interject.
we'll come. Please.
No, what I wanted to say is, you can enjoy the AC,
and still
but
go
for
and work.
for a very short time, but have more impact there.
Okay. Esther, please, in 1 minute, how you see yourself participating in the alumni community quickly.
Yes, like all of us know, we're not the first cohort to graduate, and the first cohort fellows are doing amazing work out there, and they've kept in touch with their learners. They keep visiting their communities. Some of them are already pursuing studies to come back and cause more impact. And if our load goes out there and do nothing, it looks like we've not learned anything from the people that we've interacted with. So I'll say this, that all of us actually are going out there to do something. And for education, for us to build back through education post-pandemic, we need more private individuals and organizations to invest in education. The private individuals are us. We should not only, like my colleague said, keep saying it's government, it's government. We have people in this country that can invest in education. Like when lockdown came, COVID was here, we saw people making donations. We saw corporate companies making donations. We saw NGOs making donations to cap the situation. If all of us do that to the education sector, if all of us make individual contributions to the education system, then trust me, we will re-emerge or we'll build back better so quickly.
Okay.
So as a person, and like speaking for all my colleagues, all of us have already commitments. The attachment we've built with these learners is so deep. We left them in P4, P5, and it would even haunt us to just let them be.
Let them be, okay. Yeah. I will not ask you guys the alumni question, but there is just one. We have people who are joining us on Zoom. Please, thank you so much for sparing the time. One question from Lydia. What happens next with the projects you started in the schools, and yet you will be away? So quickly, please summarize, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. What next for the projects?
Okay, thank you so much. Since we've not been doing these things like single-handedly as teachers, we've been involving the children. We've been working together with the children. So the children are taking it on. Right now, I'm not there, but if you go there, you'll find things moving on well. Okay. So we've prepared them for the time when we are away.
So you had sort of a transition plan. It would also be good if you really continue, just even if you're away, to maybe identify a leader of a sort in the community who can continue. You have maybe a response to this question as well?
Yeah, for my project, like I said, we set up the first school library, and we also set up a system when we set up the library. For example, currently the children are able, even during this lockdown, to access the library at least two days in a week. So there's a system that is already running, and with the teachers well trained in place, the library will continue running. And the other project is already being run by the community. The communities continue to engage children through sports and engage them in many areas of their lives through sports.
All right. Maybe also the other option is, I don't know, Charlotte, if they are fellows that go to these communities, to the same schools again. So it would be good to also have a transition plan of these projects to the next cohort that comes there. Did you all study education? Quickly, what did you study?
I studied a Bachelor's of Arts in Ethics and Human Rights from
Ethics. That's why you sound very ethical. Yes, Esther.
Yeah, I hold a bachelor's degree in education, English and literature.
Yes, education. Yeah, English is very.
Yeah. I also hold a bachelor's degree in education, English literature.
Okay.
A bachelor's of science with education, with a major in physics and mathematics.
Okay. So I think, I mean, the person that was asking is intended to inquire if you have if we only have education background in Teach for Uganda, but I know for sure that it's a multi-professional. You can come, you can be a doctor, engineer, and you can join the fellowship. So I think we have also people joining in from Nigeria. Please clap for Nigeria, everyone. So far, at least what I see here. I think maybe Kenya as well. We have a question from physically here. Someone had a question? Is there anyone with a question, okay, for any of these? Yes, over there. You can shout it out from there. There's a mic there. Oh. We trust your voice.
Thank you very much. The panel, it's been amazing hearing your experiences. So my question to Umala,
Kenneth.
Roma,
Yeah.
Kenneth, thank you. You told us about tech. Would you like to share, because I imagine tech and then the kids in primary, more so in the rural areas, how did they catch up? And what are some of the experiences from the time now you are living? At what point are they? What level are they? Thank you.
Maybe just to highlight, I think he talked more about setting up a library and using football as well, according to your bio. So, but is there any response maybe to this question?
I didn't concentrate so much on tech while in the fellowship. The only times that the children had the opportunity to interact with these gadgets is when I organized exchange programs. And when I organized an exchange program between my children at St. Jude Mwangi Primary School and a colleague from India, where we were having the children interact with each other with the other children in India. What I did to get the resources is I collected tablets from friends. I reached out to friends and was able to collect up to 5 tablets. And the only tech that I took the children through using is I took them on how to use Zoom and be able to interact with these other children in India. And we were able to have very interactive sessions. My children were really happy to find out that they were speaking better English than children in India.
And the winners.
and I have never seen them that confident speak English. Okay. When they realized that their English is wow, they became so confident, they interacted with these kids and they built relationships across borders with children in another part of the world with same challenges, and they were able to work together and come up with solutions to problems. For example, a pair of my learners along with a pair of other learners in India came up with solutions on how they can increase the number of girls in their 2 different schools. And it was a very great opportunity. And yeah, that was the only time that the learners got so interactive with these tech devices.
Wow, thank you so much. But also the whole idea of, because I remember way back there used to be pen pal, where they would connect kids here with some people and then you write letters. So you are taking it to a whole new level to give, young people an experience of other children in other continents. So thank you so much. There is someone who wants to clarify on how tech was used or is being used in the communities and the experience of their children. Please feel free to stand up. Yes.
Thank
1
you.
minute. Sorry.
Thank you. My name is Alan Otodi. I just want to supplement on Kenneth's submission. Tech for us in Isenda, me and my co-fellow who is out a bit. Our experience with these, personally, I think that tech should be integrated into our education system right from nursery school. In my in my experience with this technology, I think me and my co-fellow, we implemented a digital learning program where we supplied about 30 tablets to these children. And what we saw is that it was engaging, and children like this, and they were able to learn. And if you try and compare the children that were exposed to this technology and those that were not exposed, you literally see a lot of difference. And I think this is my request to the government and different stakeholders. We should integrate this technology to these children so that they can be able to catch up or learn at their own pace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are unfortunately coming to the end of this panel. We are 6 minutes late. Sorry? 30 seconds, please.
Thank you. About technology, I think let's bring it back to the context. In this whole time of COVID, this team you see here has supported us with airtime, data, and we've been making calls to the parents. Actually, before the community cluster learning pods, when we went into the next lockdown, that's when the team came up with that approach, and it has had immense impact on these learners, calling the parents themselves and also teaching the students. Not only that, but it has been a platform for us to emotionally, to mentally uplift this community through telephone. So sometimes when you talk about tech, most people think that iPad, that iPhone, but we can bring it down to the local level. The small cell phones, that is the impact that tech can lead us to. And if we support this team, we can have more than that in this nation. Thank you.
So you managed to use Kabiriti, yeah?
Yeah, that's what our parents can afford.
Okay.
But they also welcome smartphones. If any of you is ready to give in.
Bring.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. It's been, for me, who has been following the story of Teach for Uganda and really being inspired by it, it's been amazing to hear the projects that you've been able to do. But quickly, as we conclude, just your people would love to know your university. Please, if you could mention, yes, universities where your so that we can shout, yeah, Makerere, oh yeah. So please, it's the time to bring bragging rights of your university.
Exactly. Please don't misquote me. I am from the mighty Makerere University, so the bragging rights are here.
Makerere, oh yeah. Hey, okay.
Yes, I come from Makerere University.
Makerere, oh yeah. My university is not coming.
I'm from Kampala International University, where we explore the heights.
Kampala International University, oh yeah.
And from Mbara University of Science and Technology.
Mbara University, oh yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Which one else? Okay. Chambogo, oh yeah. Yes. Chambogo in the house. I am representing, guys. Chambogo, at least. We are here. Who else have we not recognized? Banang. IU. Do we have Mukono? UCU? East Africa? Nkozi?
Mustafa
Gulu? UPU? Bishop Stewart? Bugema in the house? Cavendish. Cavendish. Cavendish? Busoga, Busoga University, yes. Any Harvard in the house? Any Harvard people? In 3 years. Oxford people in the house? It's coming, eh? Manchester University? Leicester. How do we... Leicester or Leicester? Leicester. Hey, Wanang. You literature people, go there. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, James, Charlotte. Congratulations once again on your graduation. Clap for yourselves. You have now how many graduations? I don't know. You go celebrate with your parents, say we made it. Now the work though is just beginning, as you said. For us who've been lucky to go through fellowships and these kind of platforms, it's really, really important to give back to not just the communities, but to these organizations, because Teach for Uganda is you guys. So James and Charlotte will somehow always tap into the fire that they've given you, yeah? And all of us here. So let's continue to stay engaged, stay committed to the cause, and reimagine the future of our education in Uganda. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for listening. For those on Zoom, please, we are continuing with normal programming. Stay tuned and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please may you put your hands together for Mr. Bas Pindi for moderating that panel session. I would like to request each one of you, please, may you give a standing ovation to our wonderful panelists, please, as you clap. A standing ovation, please. Thank you so much. May you be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, here at Victoria Hall at Golden Tulip and attending virtually, please may you, I would like to remind you that the theme for this year is reimagining our future through education post-pandemic. And without wasting any much time, ladies and gentlemen, allow me take you to our next item. And we're going to have a testimonial video from Ivan, who was one of our panelists. Thank you so much. As they are going to play the video, remember my activity I told you earlier? To write the inspirational quote to your neighbor. Did you write? Please give it to them. You shared.
My name is Wamala Ivan Samuel. I am a fellow with Teach for Uganda, and I joined this fellowship shortly after graduating with a bachelor's degree in ethics and human rights from Makerere University. This fellowship has given me a clear path, a number of opportunities, and a platform to exhibit and exploit my potential. TFU as a fellowship, first of all, I would appreciate our seniors, the team from head office. They gave us the skills. But I mean, when you come to the field, again, the dynamics sometimes switch. You get different problems, and I mean, sometimes you even feel like you want to give up. But you stand up and say, no, I can change something about this. So, first of all, I would say TFU has groomed me into a leader who doesn't fear challenges. Face them, pave through them, seek solutions, and live a better day thereafter. So in that itself, you're going to learn to work with people, because you're going to meet these people, and at a certain point they don't agree with you on everything. So you're going to sit down and say, now what are we putting on table? So you learn how to relate with them, understand their kind of story. You know, you may come up with a project, an initiative, and they're not interested. But how do you intermingle their thoughts and yours to come up with something perfect? So there is power of collaboration and collective leadership. Yeah, you get into their homes, because we could go as far as their homes, visiting our children, and in that process, you're going to understand the problems that they are going through. When I came to this, Mayuge entirely, of course, Beulah as a community, as an example, I found out that very many people were into sugarcane plantation. So that would mean there is no food, or there is no land to grow that food, or there is very little land. And by growing sugarcane, of course, they cut it seasonally. that destroyed all the forests around here. And in the future, definitely, it would lead to a big environmental cancer. So I sat down with my co-fellow, we thought about this, and we designed a project of climate action. Yeah, and our target was at least plant 50,000 tree seedlings in these school communities and the other communities, not only here, but the district itself. So we went back to the people, talked to them, and they got the idea and they loved it. We also thought about, what about the children we are teaching? How can we empower them to become solutions to their own problems? We came up with a plan of raising them into environmental ambassadors. And of course, that was through advocacy itself and giving them the environmental education, the skills of planting trees, raising a nursery bed. And at one point we felt like, no, much as we do this here, but somewhere somebody needs to learn the skills. And we said, no, let's empower these children, let them speak to the world. And I am very thrilled that one of our students participated in the Global Videos for Change and the climate, and at least this video brought 2 awards. And of course, it definitely made it to COP26, the World Leaders Summit on Climate Action.
Events and many others. This happens because of people's bad practices, like cutting trees, chap burning, bricklaying, and many others.
The most important lesson I've learned from this fellowship is we never underestimate the power of human capital. Be it that local man down in the village that you think may have not gone to school, they have ideas about them that you need to learn from. So I have learned the power of collective leadership, collaboration, and also making count of involving every stakeholder in these communities. The fellowship has definitely given me the insight of what I am potentially made of, because I've had the opportunity, I've explored it, and I've seen how far the impact can go. And in the coming days, I have a global summit that I am selected as a speaker. I'm writing a book about this fellowship to try amplify that voice, or to make it count, or reach out to those people who are supposed to do the right thing. I want to become a global continental policy expert. Also, of course, talking about policy, we have the educational policies, the health policies, so that's the direction I definitely look forward to taking.
So much for that wonderful video. Indeed, it's a collective effort. And truthfully, dear leaders, you'll triumph beyond the skies, beyond the skies. Not even the skies will limit you. And thank you to Teach for Uganda for modeling them and guiding them through this leadership journey. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, next on our item, next on the agenda is a cohort 2 fellow representative who is an alumnus of MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program and also an alumnus of Makerere University. She graduated with a degree in social work and social administration. She's a major of gender and women studies, which explains why she's a feminist who is passionate about gender equality, most especially the girl child. The cohort 2 fellow representative has experience and great knowledge in orphans and vulnerable children. This great lady has IT teaching skills and menstrual hygiene handling knowledge and skills. Ladies and gentlemen, here and attending virtually, may you welcome Miss Rose Namalwa. Thank you.
Teach for Uganda. Teach for Uganda. This is our nation. If we don't help our own people, then who will? A dedication quote from our very own Ariong Moses, commonly known as Big Brother. Teach for Uganda. It will be inhuman, call it selfishness, or unfair if I don't applaud each and everyone here in his or her own capacity, for the commitments left and busy schedules, for you to be here and celebrate this very, very big day with us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rosina Mara, and I am here to act as a mouthpiece to the smartly intelligent, brilliant leaders over there. I am already a confirmed alumnus of the Teach for Uganda Fellowship. You may see us smiling, jubilating, but you may not know how this whole journey started. Seeing different individuals along Chiwafu Road, heading to that black gate in Muyenga, brought a lot of questions to me. Of course, I didn't know where they were heading. I was like, where are they going? But they were all heading to the journey of ending education inequities in Uganda. Most of us were closed outside the gate, hearing that random voice in the background saying, Patrick, close the gate. That's not how leaders act like. Leaders are good time managers. Of course, it was a random voice of a man whom I didn't know at that time. I picked a lesson from it. Imagine appearing on a school timetable. You are supposed to deliver a lesson at exactly 7 and presenting yourself at 7:30. I reached the gate 3 minutes past 8. I was closed outside the gate. But I picked a lesson from that random voice of a man whom I didn't know at the time. Taking you through the journey of interviews, not all of us were taken up. Just like a football match where we have winners and losers. Some of our colleagues didn't make it, however much they badly wanted to be with us. And we are here to celebrate the winners who convinced the judges. Going through a strange land for a boot camp is another experience. I wouldn't miss to recommend any person planning to take up a fellowship to miss. Sleeping with families, very hungry. You have no idea about the language they are using. Sleeping in under half-roofed houses with no windows. Waking up when your whole skin is having burns just because you've been bitten by termites or something I may not know. You may think this is fiction or a horror, but it's a true story from what we went through. We kept on pushing because we knew the journey we were heading to, the journey of 2 years, was going to be like that. I cannot forget to talk about the 1 month training deep in Mayuge. You can't imagine a forester like Namtevi Alice leaving all the forests and game parks to come and join a movement of leaders to organize mathematics lessons. And of course, all leaders here, including me, who had never been into a teaching profession, being told by Desmond Wandera and Omoya Charles to prepare lesson plans and schemes of work. But through powerful trainings, we are here to celebrate. After that journey, real life had to happen. Those were like games. We went in communities with no network, no internet, no clean water. We had to trek long distances looking for that one child that inspired us to join this movement. I remember I was once posted in a community where the head teacher could not appear usually for official duties at school, but he could show up every evening very drunk. That man harassed me with a lot of sexual statements. I lost sleep. I lost peace. Honestly, I was almost giving up on this fellowship. I thank God for my co-fellow of that time. That's why I realized it comes simpler to have a co-fellow. My co-fellow of that time took everything it took for me to be changed from that hectic community. I am here to celebrate. I am not complaining. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been in communities where our own teachers we are working with call us spies to the government just because our ethical way of doing things is totally different from theirs. This goes back to the trainings we went through. We've not been teachers by profession, but we've delivered lessons better than that trained teacher in the community. We've been in communities where you enter a classroom to deliver an English lesson, and a child and children look at you as if you are a flower in front of them, simply because they're not understanding the language you're using. So we had to break ourselves to their levels. We learned those languages we didn't know for that future child of Uganda. We've not only been classroom teachers, we've been mentors, we've been comforters, we've been problem solvers in those communities. That's why we are here to celebrate. Talk about the digital laboratory in Isenda. You cannot forget to talk about the name of Chimuli and Alan for that. Talk about feeding the hungry. That is Fiona and Betty George. Talk about renovating classes to see that you attract more learners, to increase enrollments in school. I cannot leave out Biaruhanga Rachel. Rose and Esther, changing the stigma of communities through menstrual hygiene. Talk about Mr. Dixon and Alice, of course, the toilet project of Solomon and Hillary. You guys have been leaders in a making. You've not only been classroom teachers. Those statements show that you've been leaders in a making. It looks impossible until it is done. My message to any potential employer in the house, I would not recommend you to any experienced leader than the leaders of Teach for Uganda. I mean, they've seen it all. Experience is not bias. Experience is going through the roots, and then you take enough research of actions, you take those actions to the challenges. That's what we call experience. Nelson Mandela once said that a winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for your time, for your patience to listen to me, for God and my country. One day, all Ugandan children will have access to unequal education. I remain Rose.
Thank you so much, Miss Namala Rose. She really represented them well, our graduates. Please, thank you for that standing ovation. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you are attending Teach for Uganda Cohort 2 graduation ceremony under the theme, Reimagining Our Future Through Education Post-Pandemic. And we are streaming live on Teach for Uganda social media accounts, that is Zoom and YouTube. Please tweet about this event under the hashtag TFU graduation, and please tag EY and DHL. Ladies and gentlemen, to our fellows, the wife of the 33rd President of US, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and that is Eleanor Roosevelt, once said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Thank you for dreaming well, and I am sure you're still dreaming. Thank you so much. Please, may we put your hands together once again to give that great hand clap to our graduates. Ladies and gentlemen watching virtually, please keep the comments coming and share our event on your social media handles. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any much time, it is 3 minutes past 1, and we are moving to our next item on the agenda. And in the next 5 minutes, we're going to listen to a father who is a fitness enthusiast. He's one with experience from US, the great US, India, East Africa. He's an international development professional with experience in business strategy. He is a development and storytelling professional. Ladies and gentlemen, this great man holds 2 masters. One in sustainable development, management and international policy, and the other is in public health and policy from Florida State University. That is in US. He knows the importance of service, as himself is an alumnus of Acumen and Global Health Corps. He was awarded by the University of Florida the Rubin Odi Askew Young Alumni Award for his outstanding leadership and service to humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the one and the only, the Executive Director and Co-Founder of Teach for Uganda, Mr. James Kasaga Arineitwe for... Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie, and I'm going to come to you for where you got that information, but I appreciate the officials from the ministry who may be here, the Ministry of Education and Sports, our partners, Ernst & Young, thank you for being here. DHL, I know they are here. Our wonderful partner, network partner, Teach for All, and those watching online, and all our partners, Sigo Family Foundation, Credit Suisse, I cannot mention all of them. We are grateful. Our board of Teach for Uganda, our board chair is here, Mr. Muchibi. Thank you for being here. Our team of Teach for Uganda that enables us to achieve what we've been able to achieve in these 5 years. We are grateful. The fellows of Teach for Uganda, the alumni, and our children. We cannot forget you, and why we are here is that one day all children in Uganda will receive equitable and quality education. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. Everything else, you see all these gentlemen, men dressed, 2021 graduates, congratulations for sticking, committing to the vision and staying the course. Congratulations. Let me start with your story. And Rose Namara, thank you, because you really made me smile. The strange man behind the voice, close the gate. It's time. Thank you for sharing that story. Why? Because we know very well that leaders who do not manage time can hardly manage anything. In 2019, you applied to a grueling opportunity of this fellowship. You were selected from over 500 applicants. That's what the data shows. 27 of you made it through, were given the acceptance letter at Teach for Uganda as cohort 2 fellows. That's a big deal. 500 applicants, 27 of you made it out. We didn't stop there. We threw you to Mayuge communities for a full week boot camp so that you can understand that the child that you want to serve, the young Tuyamureba, the young Hillary, the young Claire Kanyunyuzi is there, and you must know who they are. Guess what? Only 22 of you returned to institute saying, I can commit to that child. And for that, I am grateful to you because 20 of you today are graduating. That is a big, big achievement. So congratulations, you class of 2021. And you are placed in those communities towards the end of 2019 to practice in Mayuge and Luero in 33 communities. Yeah. And just 2021, you were excited. I remember very well Winnie coming with her jerrycan, jumping onto that bus as if she was going for a vacation. I remember Chebijira just so excited, as if these young people were crazy. I mean, you're getting on a bus to go to a rural community, but you seemed like you're going for vacation on a beach somewhere. That is when I knew that we had selected the right leaders. And for that, I am grateful to you. And not say anymore, by the time you are excited to learn those lesson plans and entering the classroom, COVID-19 pandemic hit. How much more can a leader be tried? How much more can a leader be tried? But I am grateful to say that by mid-2020, Solomon, Kamukama, and Chimuli Emma were at the front of the news of the Daily Monitor for some of the young leaders. In fact, they were representative of all of you for leading communities to continue teaching our children. Go and look at that Daily Monitor. It is there, showing that our young leaders are the ones, when everyone was running away from the communities, they were there, meeting village to village. Some of you were running or even walking miles to meet your children. That is a testament of leadership. And for that, we are grateful to you. And we celebrate you today. And you should feel very proud. It is your day. Congratulations. You carried out the community cluster learning pods. You carried out the tele-learning initiative. You took on the virtual transformational education course that we had never imagined in Teach for Uganda. In fact, you're the leaders, Chimuli and Alan Otodi, who told us that digital learning is not only for children at Kampala parents. You are the ones who told us it is also for our children in Isenda. It is also important for our children deep down in those schools where we went in Nango. And as we speak today, we have 5 schools with digital learning laboratories. And we look forward to more next year. Thank you for dreaming big, our dear leaders. Thank you for being committed to that child. Thank you for your resilience. And so let me go to the lessons that you learned, which I hope that you will carry on as you move into the alumnihood. Because for us, we believe that, as you have said here on your panel, that just the journey has begun. It's a long life commitment. You learned resilience. We all know that COVID-19 tried you. One time I received a call from Ivan Woman and I said, "Are you home in Entebbe?" He said, "I am not leaving Wiwula because I committed to this." And all of you, Rachel said, "I am not leaving Butuntumula in Luero." And so you learned resilience. That is an amazing lesson. You learned the power of mobilizing resources. As we speak, all of you have already left community impact projects that are sustainable in your communities. You built libraries. You built digital learning labs. You brought water to your communities. You were more than teachers. You were leaders. So I hope that as you continue to learn those lessons. Those are lessons that you learned, the lessons of adaptive leadership. I guarantee you in the 21st century, no leader, the Ernst & Young here are here, is seeking for leaders who know how to solve technical problems, because anyone can learn Excel. Anyone can learn Word and PowerPoint. But any leader who is able to galvanize resources, to work with parents and bring them on board to keep their children learning, to use that small telephone and teach their children and bring them together in a small place, that is a leader. That is an adaptive leader. And that lesson is what will make you stand out, and your job will not be taken by robots, because a robot cannot do an adaptive leadership thing. It can only do Word and Excel and PowerPoint, and maybe it can speak a few words.
but it will not galvanize resources. It will not bring people together. It will not make the human connection that Ivan Womara was able to make and build 50,000 trees. Now I think we are speaking of how many communities across Mayuge. That is the work of an adaptive leader. The other lesson that you learned, the lesson of empathy, connection with community. Rose Namara is a testament that even when her co-fellow left at that school in Luero, Rose stayed, and because of her insistence on her children, now they have a digital learning lab in Luero, the first of its kind, led by War Child and her work. For you who may not know, that is a former, Nalongo PS is a former school of Mr. Kakoza Alex, the PS of the Ministry of Education, the former PS. So now that school is connected digitally because of her insistence on the girl child and knowing that I will not leave them. Last few lessons that I want to share with you, as someone who has walked with you in this journey, I know you very well. You have learned what you want. In life, it is very important to know what you want. What do you want out of this life? Ask yourself, what do I want? And I do believe that now you know what you want. After you have known what you want, why do you want it so bad? Why do you want it? You want to leave that legacy. Why? And I know now, by now you know why. The next one is, what do I need to do to get it done? Now, all those things I'm sharing, you have done. You joined this vision of Teach for Uganda knowing this is what I want. You ask yourselves, but why? Is it really I am Tuyamreba, Hillary? I am a graduate of public health and public health and community labs. I'm a health professional. Why am I coming to Teach for Uganda? You chose why? Because you wanted to see that child in that rural community where you've been in Nabutaka also one day become a leader like you. You chose already the why. Now, you also did great because you galvanized the resources through DHL who are here, and now we have built a new classroom for those children. You even helped with Kamukama brought clean water. When you used to go and fetch water in a pond, now they have a borehole. Isn't that public health, sir? The best form of public health is clean water. When COVID hit, if we didn't have water, would we have survived? So you have achieved your purpose. Now my calling to you, can you now know what do you need to do in the next 3, 5, 10 years? And finally, I want to remind you that every passion, every purpose will not come without challenges. Some of you are afraid to go into this vision. Some of you even dropped along the way, but you stayed the course. There will be that aspect of fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of where the finances will come from. Fear of what do I need to do next. But I have to tell you, my friends, that you have now a family. You are no longer alone. You have a family of Teach for Uganda that is here, not only in you, the fellows, it is in the team, it is in the alumni, it is in the board, it is in the partners, it is in the network of 60 organizations across the world in the network of Teach for All. You have a family that you belong to. Whenever something happens to you when you are in a family, what do? You reach out for support. I pray that you will use that family wisely so that you can support you to achieve your purpose. And finally, I leave you with again the words of our old man who has always guided me when I'm lost and I don't know and I read his books. When he says that sometimes it falls on a generation to be great. And that you can be that great generation. Let your greatness blossom. That is Nelson Mandela. Let me say that one more time. Sometimes it falls on a generation of any nation, any continent to be great. You can be that generation. Let your greatness blossom. I thank you and I wish you the very best and congratulations, class of 2021. And because I am excited again and tasked to do a hard job of introducing one of our greatest. This leader is no other than one who was an alumni, like you, who is an alumni of Teach First UK. One of the first in the UK when Teach First was coming. 2, he not only left there as an alumni, he continued his passion to serve in education for all children, not just in the UK, but in the world. He came to Uganda and built peace schools. And these peace schools are scattered across the country in Uganda and Zambia, and they are now providing quality education to secondary school children who come from low-income communities, and they can even attend for free. These are great model schools. 2, after peace, after his journey has done it, he even went up to join a charity organization, a foundation that now he's the one who is now bringing us resources and providing funding, grant funding, to ensure that we continue the vision of quality education for all children. Now you can see, started as a fellow of Teach First UK, built peace schools, and now is on the funding side of his career. And this is none other than our friend and partner and mentor, John Rendo. So please, you will watch his video here as it is played. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Please, may you put your hands together for James. Ladies and gentlemen, as they are still working on the video, please, amidst us, we have Tom Kasalao. Please wait for us. He is a TFU alumnus and a program manager at Elevate for education.
In the history of the organisation as future cohorts build on your extraordinary resilience. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. First of all, I'd like to pass on a huge congratulations and thank you for everything that you have achieved in the last 2 years. These 2 years have been 2 of the hardest in the history of Ugandan education. Your work and the work of the Teach for Uganda team that supported you is an inspiration, and your commitment will go down in the history of the organisation as future cohorts build on your extraordinary resilience and creativity. 17 years ago, I began my own Teach for All journey as one of the first cohort of Teach First teachers in the UK. I taught secondary school maths in South London, and it was an experience I will never forget. More importantly, the friends and colleagues I met then remain some of my closest friends and collaborators to this day. Last Sunday, I went for a jog with 2 of my fellow teachers from that cohort. One of them went on to play a leading role in STIR Education, which works across Uganda and India to develop the skills and motivation of teachers and school leaders. The other now runs something called Jamie's Farm, which is a great charity in the UK where students at risk of exclusion from school because of their behavioural needs benefit from week-long residential experiences where they enjoy a completely different world while building resilience through therapy. After a week at the farm, most of the students launched the PEAS network of schools in Uganda and Zambia. In Uganda, PEAS now educates over 16,000 secondary school students, and in Zambia, PEAS has agreed a radical public-private partnership with the government in which its schools are the first government-funded schools in the country to be completely free, and that includes lunch. Since handing over the leadership of PEAS 3 years ago, I've moved on to lead a charitable foundation which has put me in the very privileged position of being able to make grants to Teach for All organisations, including the brilliant Teach for Uganda. So those 3 stories, they're just the tip of the iceberg. In the UK, and across the very many other countries which Teach for All programmes are run in, tens of thousands of committed young people have graduated through them and have gone on to a lifetime of commitment in the field of tackling educational disadvantage. It's incredibly exciting to think about all the change that you and your peers will go on to achieve on the back of what you've learned and the networks that you've built over the last 2 years. Uganda needs you. The Pearl of Africa is a country of the most immense potential. It's a country with a young and dynamic population, but one in which far too few students are able to complete primary and secondary school. And even when they do get into school, the quality of education, as we know, across most of the country leaves many with only very limited learning. The work each of you have done over the last 2 years to sustain learning within your students through the most incredibly difficult conditions will have changed many, many individual lives. But I believe the work each of you will do over the next few decades will change the lives of millions. How you do that, only you can choose. For some it will be through teaching, for some through NGOs, for some politics, and even others business partnerships. However you choose to play a role, I want you to promise each other one thing. Never forget these 2 years. Never forget the communities that you've worked with and the friendships you've built. Never forget the sacrifices you made and the sacrifices that were made on your behalf by the Teach for Uganda team and well-wishers across the world. And most importantly, never forget just how much the world can change through the actions of a small number of people like you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful clap for John Rendles. Ladies and gentlemen, before we welcome Mr. James Kasagarinito once again to guide us to the next item, we would like to request you for your maximum attention once again to watch and attentively listen to another testimonial videos from our stakeholders to see how much positive impact our dear fellows created in the fellowship. Before we do that, I recognize the virtual presence of Grace Amoka, that's Teach for Nigeria alumni. There is Andelina from Ghana. We have Obuk, Mugide Hawa, Winnie Chelangat, Peter, Jack from Teach for Zimbabwe. And there is Teach for Uganda staff, that is there is Innocent Ogwal, Ariong Moses, there is Everest Washongoka and Ignatius Opio attending. Thank you so much. So I would like to request your attention to watch the next video as they ice the event. Thank you so much. Head, shoulder, knees and toes, eyes, ears, nose and mouth.
My name is Lake Winnie. I'm a Teach for Uganda fellow and a graduate of business computing.
We are dancing. What are we doing? We are dancing. Again?
So when we came to Buiwula School Community in 2019, the school had just been pronounced the worst performing in the Eastern region. So our parents' attitude towards education was very poor, and towards the school was also terrible. So we thought of how to mobilize these parents to come back on board and change the narrative of our school. So myself and my colleague decided to come up with a football initiative that could attract these children into one place and allow us to discuss the issue at hand and how to move forward. So my journey with Teach for Uganda has taught me through the leadership training the skills of mobilization, of collaboration, of working with the people whom the problem actually disturbs so that we can move forward. So we started to change the narrative of absenteeism, which was over 70% in our school. The football started attracting them. We started to travel, we started to get exposure and see that other children are attending school on a daily. So we thought we can bring that home and improve the grades of our school so that we can attract more people who do not want to go to school to come to our school and attain an education. With the power of the football that we use, we started to realize an increase in attendance of over 85% in our school. twice at least every week we realize 100% attendance in our classes. And as we speak right now, P4 and P5 have the highest population in this school, and we would love to see the number increase, especially when they get to primary 7, so that we see more children graduating into higher education. With all these experiences of running projects, I have managed to use my communication skills to write for a grant that I recently won with Huracan FC London. So we have been given $2,000 and jerseys and balls to run our project and make it even a community-based organization. So my journey has really taught me to take initiative. It has taught me to use a collaborative approach to solve community problems. So the most important lesson I have learned in the fellowship is that learning never stops, that learning is a continuous process, that every problem that you face every day may not need the solutions you used yesterday, that we need to keep on relearning, reconfiguring and reimagining solutions that are supposed to solve the dynamics and changing problems in our community. The fellowship has prepared me for the social enterprise world. It has made me dream of making this football initiative as a big organization that covers a national scope in my country. I would love to see children being influenced through football to become educated and impactful leaders of their community.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we wait for another video to seal off the testimonial videos,
My name is Kamkama Solomon, a fellow at Teach for Uganda, placed at St. Kizito Nabutaka Primary School in Rural District. This fellowship journey has been exciting in a way that I have been able to interact with the community, learn from them, learn how to mobilize resources, and also bring all the stakeholders on board. And in the same way, me as a person, I have learned how to be a resilient leader, working on challenges and then think about solutions, and you engage the stakeholders and you get the constructive answers or to those issues affecting the area. And I feel that I have grown as a leader. My attitude has changed from a fixed mindset. Now I think beyond borders, because it has also helped me to get connections, networking, have friends in Ghana, friends in Nigeria, friends in Liberia, and I think that is what every person would wish to have in life. The most important lesson I have learned in this fellowship is working with people. I've worked with people closely, have identified their challenges, and I have also offered myself to work with them to get solutions for those challenges. A case in point, at first when we came here, we were just going to the dam. You find animals there, then you have to first stand and wait for them to move. Because our boa had some issues, and then me and my co-fellow had to go to the district and had to advocate. Then the district responded and our boa was now made. As I talk now, we are having some clean and safe water to use. But if it wasn't the spirit, the trainings of the fellowship which we had acquired, I don't think that I would still be here for this fellowship, because I was almost quitting. But because of the trainings, they impacted on me, and I was able to persevere and work with the community amidst all the challenges. The fellowship has prepared me to go through a line of education sector, because I have developed passion to change the obstacles which are there in the system. I have been here at St. Kizito Nabutaka Primary School. I have seen the behaviors of parents towards education. I have worked closely with the teachers employed by government. I have worked closely with the SMCs, the PTAs, and I have identified issues which are affecting education. So I believe that after the fellowship, I want to enroll for a course, a postgraduate diploma in educational planning and management, whereby I can also add a voice on the reforms in education. I have seen where the obstacles come from that hinder, especially the performance of the learners in these schools.
Thank you so much. And indeed, for sure, attitude is infectious. And with great attitudes like that of Solomon, we are confident that many will be infected, positively infected, remember, to ensure that one day all children in Uganda receive a quality and equitable education. Ladies and gentlemen watching virtually and here at Victoria Hall at Golden Tulip, please, we are live streaming on Teach for Uganda YouTube channel and on Zoom. Keep the comments coming. Please share and tweet under the hashtag TFU graduation. And please remember to tag DHL and Aston Young. Ladies and gentlemen, before we welcome Mr. James Kasaga Renoite once again to guide us to the next item, I would like to give another clap to all the graduates in this house. Thank you so much. So let's welcome Mr. Kasaga Renoite to guide us to the next item.
Thank you, Raoni. Thank you for the great work. And of course, we are grateful. As you can see, the graduates have outdone themselves, I think. I mean, what Winnie was sharing, what Kamukama was sharing, for those who are online, I hope you have understood now the vision and mission of Teach for Uganda. Why we call them leaders or teacher leaders. They go in the classroom not only to teach and help kids succeed in the classroom, but also mobilize the community, become problem solvers in the community, so that they are pointing to this child that you too one day can be a problem solver and a leader. And I think that's what we do. When people don't understand our fellowship, it's about leadership, being a problem solver. I've been invited here to do a tough task of introducing our board chair because he's a leader very well known. But I will start with first acknowledging the presence of Miss Barbara Kasekende of Stanbic Bank. Welcome. We are excited to have you. We also recognize, of course, again, recognize our friend Doreen from Ernst & Young. You are welcome. Mr. Baka Mayanja is here, also our partner. These people I'm announcing are our partners, so please give them a big round of applause. We wouldn't do them. And then, last but not least, we are excited to welcome Miss Anna Reisman from Conrad Adenauer Stiftang. Please give her a round of applause. She's there with us. Welcome, Anna. We're excited to have you. I know that you have been busy, but thank you for giving us your time this moment to be with us. She will share more. You will learn from her, from Conrad, but it's one of those organizations that really has been fundamental in supporting youth leadership, youth engagement within the leadership of our country. And so we welcome Anna to be here with us today. Mr. Muchibi. Mr. Andrew Muchibi is a leader like no other. He's one who not only is a teacher, but also a leader in business. He's a partner with Canaan Group, part of this hotel is part of their group. Mr. Muchibi is also a passionate servant leader of our country. No wonder he joins us to ensure that children have an excellent future. And the work that he has done of mentoring young people in his hometown of Mityana, where he has been the first one to bring electricity to the community of Mityana in his hometown. He's always about how can we work together, not government to Yambe, but how can we work together as leaders to bring social change within our communities. And so we are excited to welcome him here to share his remarks and to remind you that Teach for Uganda has a governance board and he's our leader. So welcome, Mr. Muchibi.
Teach for Uganda. Are you ready to go? Thank you very much. I have a written speech, but I'm going to avoid that written speech. My name is Andrew Muchibi, a teacher by profession. I graduated in 1998. Yes, some people are frowning. Yes, 1998 I graduated, and my subjects were economics and geography. I taught for 3 years, I think, prior to my departure out of this country, and my calling was business. So what James has just mentioned, I prefer to call myself a social entrepreneur, and that's what I do for a living. I'm part of this hotel. I'm the local partner, and I'm part of Federal Foods and Single Bakeries and many other things that I do. The officials from the Ministry of Education, Sports and the government leaders here with us today, our partners and friends for Teach for Uganda, the team at Teach for Uganda, the graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. I take this pleasure as chairman board to welcome you to this ceremony. Allow me to mention this, that being a pioneer board member is a challenge. I want to invite James and Charlotte to join me. Please, can we do that quickly as teachers? Yes. While they're joining me, I want to recognize Mr. Abeka Mayanja. Thank you for joining us out of your busy schedule. We've done well with that school. Doreen, thank you for joining us. Kasekende, please, like I've told you, been waiting for you for a very long time. I'm glad that you are here with us. Once upon a time, I was sitting in my office in Acacia Mall. I'm also into oil and gas, and then Charlotte called me and said, I want you to be a board member for Teach for Uganda. It took me a long time to understand Teach for Uganda. And said, what do you want me to do? I told them I'm very busy. And then they told me to be part of the board chair, you have to contribute your money. I said, you want my time and you want my money. So it was a challenge for me. But I'm a teacher. So I only picked out the word teacher, teach. So I said, teach, I'm a teacher, maybe I'll manage. And for a very long time, I didn't know what it was all about. Until when I landed in that winter, it was 2019, 2018. 2019, I found myself in New York. Because I was going for this function, I chose to travel business class because I didn't want to have any scratch on me, any fatigue on me. And then I ended up in one big room. First of all, it was winter. I didn't have a jacket on. I bought something in Amsterdam, a small jacket. In the middle of New York, he never told me it's extremely cold. So I had no jacket, nothing. Anyway, I went for the meeting, and there was Mr. Kasaga talking about Teach for Uganda, and I listened attentively. That was the first time I learned about Teach for Uganda. The journey has not been easy, but I want to thank the two founders. This wonderful lady, our co-founder, who had that big dream, put it together, talked to a wonderful man all the way from the US, a well-connected man, and thank you for introducing me to Barbara Bush. Okay, it was because of this wonderful man. I have that on my email, Barbara Bush, you know. So they came together, formed this. I always tell them, this is a big animal, and we need to manage it well. Please, you can sit down. As board, today is not my day because we have the guest of honor. I want to give you assurance. As the board, we've just had a board session. I had a session with the two founders at my home, where I prefer also to call Rachtura in Mitiana. A whole day session with them, taking them through management and the future of Teach for Uganda. I can assure you that after our meeting, we came up with wonderful ideas. And I can tell you those that have joined and worked with us, the future is bright. Number one, We are buying a 25-acre piece of land, and that land is going to house the first leadership institute, owned by Teach for Uganda. Please, thank you very much. As a leader, I believe in the future. So that training institute will have our lecture theaters, we'll have an amphitheater, we'll have staff houses, we'll have accommodation, because when I looked in our budget, we are spending a lot of money on renting spaces for training and all that. I had a challenge where the fellows were having hard time to get proper, decent accommodation whenever they went for training. And I said, as chairman, I cannot watch when people are struggling. So we resolved in board, and we've allocated funds. We have the money. By end of this month, the land will be available. I've inspected the land, and I've given it my blessing. So we are preparing for the future. And when some of you are saying, well, what will happen next? Those who will perform well, you'll be accommodated, because the institute is quite big, and we are still training leaders for tomorrow. I read this and say, one day, all children in Uganda will attain an equitable quality education. I'm saying tomorrow. I'm removing this, and I'm saying tomorrow. As board chair, as long as I'm board chair, it will be tomorrow, not one day. One day is for people who don't dream. You know, it should be tomorrow, because one day we may not be here, but tomorrow I know I'm here. Okay, so tomorrow we'll attain that for all the children of Uganda. To our funders, I want to assure you that we are prudent. As board, we have strict measures. When I came to office, we had the financial policy, human resource policy, and many other policies that we have in place. I can assure you that they cannot take out any coin without my signature. They cannot spend without a budget. Even when they want to spend out of the budget, they have to seek our approval as board. That's how prudent we are as an organization. Because personally, the Lord has been good to me. I've been successful in my own space. I don't want to be associated with boards that fail. And I can give assurance to the fellows, to the funders, to our financials, that your stipend will come on time. And if it doesn't come on time, please call me and say, board chair, it has not come. The good news is, we've always been on time. We've given you the medical insurance. You've not disappointed us. To the fellows, we cannot, Teach for Uganda cannot exist without you. Your attitude, your behavior, your humbleness, your hard work, your prayerfulness, while you're out there, will make this organization shine, will make this organization successful. So as we go out there, remember, emulate the skills, the attitudes, the mindsets that we've given you. Without a proper mindset, you cannot achieve much. I'm a teacher by profession. I'm a farmer, I'm a businessman, I'm a manufacturer. It's not about teaching. And while we are discussing on the panel, I said rethinking. I want to use the word rethinking. Why? Because we are rethinking. With COVID, what do we need to do? We need to think outside our boxes. I don't blame the teachers like me. I was one of those who said, no, I'll not be a teacher. My mom is a teacher. All my relatives are teachers. And when I went to Makerere, they said, you have to be a teacher. And I was a teacher. But when I left Makerere, I said, oh, I think I'm not supposed to be a teacher. And I can give you reasons why. While I was a teacher in Bugema, I set up the first barber shop. The barber shop, trimming hair in Bugema. And everyone said, how can a teacher do that? I was the first teacher to set up a popcorn machine on the park, at the park near Entebbe stage. They used to call it a wasari. I used to come from Makerere, pick my money, pay my fees. While I was a teacher, again I was supplying beans to primary schools near Bugema. Okay? I was a hustler, as she has said. So teachers, we are trained to survive, and you need to think outside the box. So as you go out, think outside your box. What can we do? There is a lot of opportunities out there that we can tap into as teachers. Why? Because teachers are disciplined. I know you are not trained as teachers, but now you are teachers. You have disciplined, and once you have discipline in your life, the success is always guaranteed, because discipline is everything. If you want to have a good business, you have to have discipline. You have to run a good home, you have to have discipline. You want to raise good children, they should be disciplined in the home. So as you go out, please look out for those soft skills and maintain them. And of course, the Lord will bless you. And finally, because this is not my day, and I told you that it's also hard for me to speak these days. I always speak business and business all the time, and I will not go into business this time around. Okay, but I want to thank our partners, DHL, Ernst & Young, Stanbic Bank, for supporting us, and of course many others. I want to thank the government of Uganda for giving us space. For giving us space, because sometimes they will not give you that space. But the government of Uganda has been good to us, and on behalf of the board and Teach for Uganda, I pledge to the government of Uganda that we will continue working with you. We'll partner with you to make sure that we give quality education, equitable quality education to all our children. If we have an educated society, then we have a good society. My lecturer once told me, my geography teacher used to tell me that we get education to live a responsible life. Not to earn money, but to live a responsible life. When you live a responsible life, then the money will follow you. Success will follow you. If you don't live a responsible life, having attained all the education, you'll be corrupt. You'll steal government money. You'll be Commissioner XYZ has stolen 1 billion for a small school in Mayuge. You've been watching television when engineers are running away from the minister because they have lost money for all these schools we go to. So please remember all those words. I love my Bible, and I want to leave you with this verse. Psalms 39, verse 14 to 13. I will probably read from verse 4 to 6. And this is what it says. And I want you to take it home. Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be or is. Remind me that my days are numbered. How fleeting my life is. You have made my life no longer, you've made my life no longer than the width of my hand. My entire lifetime is just a moment to you. At best, each of us is but breath. We are mere moving shadows, and all our busy rushing ends in nothing. I always use this to remind me that whatever I have to do, I have a limited time. Remember, you've started working when you are 18 to understand what you're doing at the age of 18. Okay? But all the other times, you only have from 18, 21, that's when you start making money. Then when you go to 40, 60, then when I reached 40, they told me I have to go for a yearly checkup. I have to take that aspirin. And when I hit 50, then 70, you're in bonus. So as young fellows, graduates that are going out there, your time is numbered. So whatever you do, all the good aspirations you have here, put a time limit on them and say, from this time onwards, and that's what I've told my board. I told them, board, very soon, maybe in the next 2 years, 3 years, we'll be now looking for CEOs out of the fellows that we've trained. We'll be looking for CEOs because I don't want to see them sitting in the same offices. And I always tell them that you come to me and say, we want a bigger salary, which we cannot afford, so we need to move on. So we want to recruit from you. And that is my mission, and they are prepared. And even today, they can hand over to you. Are you ready to take on the challenge? Are you fired to take up the challenge? I like that. With those few remarks, allow me to stop here. Like I told you, I'm glad to be part of this organization. I pledge to give it my support and energies to make sure that we succeed in everything we do. To our partners, this is a very excellent journey. As a businessman, I've enjoyed it. I always share with my people, the board and the co-founders, that we have an address. And what do I mean? Every time you're given an opportunity to shine, that is your address. What do you do with your address? That's a question for you. Your address will lead you places. There's a gentleman, Womala, who said that has been aired out. He's on COP 26. COP what? 26? Yes. You are that because of Teach for Uganda. Without that address, this address, you'd be left somewhere. Without the two co-founders, we wouldn't be sitting in this room. Without these two co-founders who had a dream to think, I wouldn't be talking to you, and probably you wouldn't know me. So we have an address. So as you go out, as we speak now, your address is Teach for Uganda. Preach the good news. Tell them, recruit members, let them come and join. While you're recruiting, we are thinking very hard to make sure we accommodate everybody, because we know what it means. You leave, some of you will not get jobs, but I believe we've trained you so well, you will survive. You'll have jobs, you'll have opportunities. May the good Lord be with you and bless you as you go out to work hard and as you go out to fulfill your dreams. I've been informed that we have a video. Okay, you want to announce that? Okay. She has hijacked me, and you have to come back again? Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, may you stand up and put your hands together for Mr. Andrew Muchibi, please. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muchibi said we need to rethink. And it got me rethinking, and as I'm going home, I'll be rethinking. And this ties to our theme of the day, reimagining the future through our future through education post-pandemic. And this can only be done when we rethink. We cannot reimagine unless we rethink. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to lead you to the next item of having some of our stakeholders giving us testimonies about this great fellowship program.
I am Aline Jalianavidie, the District Inspector of Schools, Maige District Local Government. The partnership between Ministry of Education, Teach for Uganda and Maige District Local Government has been good and is still good because we were engaged from the start. Ministry of Education through BEI, that is Busoga Education Initiative, introduced Teach for Uganda to Maige District Local Government after the period release of 2018, where Busoga region performed very poorly in the national exams, and Mayuge was part of those districts that gave very poor results. They sent them to Mayuge, and all the stakeholders were involved. We appreciated and were involved in selection of the schools. Priority was given to the least performing schools. And the low learning outcomes that were looked at mainly were in literacy and then numeracy. So we shared as a district, we shared with the communities. Schools were visited, not from the district, but at their local areas where they are. And then needs assessment was done. So the partnership was owned by the stakeholders. That's why I think it has been able to work. That's how we've seen the improvement in the learning outcomes in those schools that were selected. for the last 5 years before 2018 that were performing really poorly. So as we speak now in 2020, at least they are not among the worst performing. We appreciate that now this is our own and is also embraced by the schools. The partnership can be strengthened by one, sharing the success stories in the schools that they are implementing with the other schools, because they are working in many schools, but they are all not at the same level. There are schools that have excelled in reading. There are schools where children have excelled in skill development because it was a component that was brought in. If, for example, Isenda Primary School is doing well in literacy, can share with Bukizibu and Ivonda, though there is also some rate of improvement in literacy. Parents have brought children to Isenda Primary School because they really see their learning through play and enjoying. If they still continue with the way they are doing it, because the fellows come from different professions, they are not teachers, but it's like now they are used and they work with the teachers well. At first we had a fear, these are graduates, our teachers are grade 3, and it's like you could find head teacher say, now this one is an engineer, but they saw that these people are down to earth, that they can work with the teachers, and it has helped us to know that now children, if you ask them, what do you want to become in the future? They say, I want to become an engineer. But at first they would say, I want to become a teacher. So now they see there is diversity in the professions, and their diversity, like how Chimoli in Isenda has helped children use the local environment to develop materials. So strengthening is for them scaling up, because it has now led to other schools feel neglected. Then sharing the success stories within the patterning schools and also other control schools. Then more trainings. What needs to be done is almost like strengthening the partnership. We pray that they don't go. As government, we've been coming up with the policies. We invite head teachers, tell them this has to be done. But then for them, they get the policy. Yes, language policy. You are saying local language is not good, but they go and sell it to the local young mother, all the mothers in the villages. They appreciate why something has come up, involve the community, appreciates why such an intervention has come. Then at the end of the day, it is easy for the children to take it up. So we pray that Teach for Uganda adds more fellows in the schools and continues with the trainings and work with us. But it's our prayer that I can't wait to learn spreads to all schools, because it's something, a company that came in very late, but every person is yearning for it.
Thank you so much. That was really great. I remember Mr. Muchivi said that an educated society is a good society. As you can see in Isenda, it's a good society already because of the good program of Teach for Uganda. And whoever is wondering who Chimuli is, please Chimuli wave for us. Yes, that's the gentleman the district inspector of schools was talking about. And education is the most powerful weapon for changing the world. You can see that Isenda, as the district inspector of schools shared, has been changed. Indeed, it's a great weapon to changing the world. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this privilege once again to invite Mr. Muchivi to guide us to the next item. Thank you.
I tried to be like her. Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, allow me to introduce somebody very special to us as Teach for Uganda. This person is a graduate of the University of Texas, Dallas, School of Management. This person is passionate about women empowerment, youth empowerment, business startups, for those of you who want to do business startups, transformation, collaborative leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, this person is none other than Barbara Kasekende, the corporate social investment manager at Stanbic Bank, the bank of choice. Madam, you're welcome.
Are you sure that was mine?
Yes, yes.
I've never been so clean in my life, huh? Wow. You see, I'm at a loss for words, Mr. Mchibi, which is very rare. You are on my LinkedIn. Okay. Think outside the box. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Where are my graduates at? Yay! You guys are absolutely special and uniquely made. There's a reason we're here today. But to all ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here. I know it's almost lunchtime, so we won't take long. Kubanga, I know what it means. But without further ado, I would like to just say a small story. You know, Sheila, the board member, has been a friend of mine for quite some time. And I have been walking this journey for quite some time. And she said, Barbara, we are going to walk this journey together. It has been it has been a long journey, and look at where we are today. And when I met Mr. Kasaga, we spoke for hours on end, and it's so nice to see people who share the same passion and vision that you have, which brought a lot of excitement. And this partnership has started a little bit late. This should have started a long, long time ago. No? But to my graduates out there, I want to just tell you a small story about me as a student in the Ugandan education system. Yes, I came from your typical upperish class, but I want to show you how a student in Kololo and a student in Mayuge is the same. There's no difference. As a young girl, I was very misunderstood, heavily. Nzai, getting you. I was beaten. I was the one punished. You don't understand. You don't listen in class. But bloody hell, if I have to study the baraza for 3 hours and read a book for 3 hours to do an exam, that is not how I learned growing up. I didn't understand what that meant. So in class, I was always the one who was beaten for not getting that. No one, these ones don't know baraza. You remember baraza? P7? That book, whoever wrote that book, that was not right. Anyway, but just to let you know that growing up, we were never given choices to explore ourselves. When a child was different, you were useless. You were stubborn. You were not worth it. You will never make it in life. Growing up, I was told 1,000 times how I'll never make it by my teachers. You'll never make it, you'll never go anywhere, you'll never amount to anything. Can you imagine? You're telling that to a what? 8, 9-year-old child, you see? And in my mind, even going into secondary school, at one point I was like, maybe I'm useless. And maybe I talk too much. You start believing it because you're spending 9 months in a year with your what? Your teachers at school, you see? So I believed that. But you know, my spirit did not. So even in high school, it was very critical. And to show you when a child is affected, in high school, I tried to commit suicide twice. Of course, I'm not dead, I'm still alive. Just to show you the value of a teacher. The value of someone who tells a child that they can make it. I was told that I wasn't that child. But I was in good schools. I went to Namagunga, I was in good schools. But I was told when I was young that I would never amount to anything. So I chose to end my life. Okay, it didn't happen. Thank God I'm still here. Yeah? But the point I'm trying to make here, ladies and gentlemen, and to you graduates, is how important your role is to those young people. Whether you spend 1 day with them, whether you spend 20 days with them or a year, but that thing you give them to tell them, you're special, you're uniquely made, you are valued. Never give up. That small thing is what makes a difference to that child's life. I wish I was told that when I was younger. I wish I was told that you'd be the greatest thing, you're nice, you're beautiful, it's okay. If you talk too much, heck, I'm using my gift today. I was beaten every day for it. You see? I wish I was told that. But what you're doing today, I'm so glad that I made it, in spite of the many meetings, to actually see what would you call it, the product here today. You guys, you do not know what you're doing. I just came back from traveling to 40 districts. Someone told me I need to learn to sit at home for once. But I was visiting 40 districts. And ladies and gentlemen, the state of our schools from northern Uganda all the way to central Uganda is very sad. Huh? You go to a school and a teacher tells you, hey, today, no, I can tell you, we only had 20 girls who got pregnant. The number is not so bad, 20 girls. And then I only have 3 teachers. The other teachers, they went and got other. It's like it has become everyday language. But we're starting schools in January. You know, with the situations that we are having today. The fact that you went out there and stood in these schools during the pandemic and did what you did, ladies and gentlemen, clap for yourselves. Because you are the heroes of this country. You are the unsung heroes. Because every school we went to, they're drowning. The teachers are drowning. First of all, teachers themselves need a whole different, that's a whole different story altogether. If I start talking about teachers, we are not going to leave right now. The teachers alone need that. So already we are struggling with that. Clearly, this cohort needs to be up to 2,000 fellows. We are going to try and ensure that this happens. Because at this point in time, Uganda is bleeding. We are bleeding. We have lost 3 generations. 3. We have to catch up. And we have a lot to do to catch up. Already, you know, today, malaria and AIDS are the number one. They're killing people now. Can you imagine we are back to that state now? COVID came then, I don't know what happened. So if you're talking about young girls getting pregnant between the ages of 12 to 15, okay? And the percentage has gone up to the extent that districts like Kampala have 10 kids recorded getting pregnant every day. And it is, it's every day. It's like a Stabatono from last time. Is it really? And these are young kids, you see? So if we have situations like those, what we are doing here for Teach for Uganda is very, very critical. Your value is very critical to try and bridge those gaps. Our value is very critical to ensure that we help you bridge those gaps. I am hoping that after graduation and we've fed today and everything is nice, we remain in this space because we need to support Uganda to be the Uganda we want it to be. It can't keep bleeding. We can't be the ones with issues all the time. So to see such innovations, I cannot wait to begin to walk this journey with a lot of you to ensure that we bridge the gap. But as I end, I would like to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, never for once should you go to bed without feeling that you haven't added value. Because until you feel it, then you will add value to everybody else. I keep telling people, every time I wake up to 3 things. I need to make sure I inspire somebody or impact somebody. I need to make sure somebody impacts me. But most importantly, I need to make sure I learn something. So take time for you. Take time. Yes, you're helping others, but are you taking time for you? Because if you are not okay, that child you're helping will see it and will take in that vibe. They need your aura to be positive. So how positive are you? And if this is your calling, it will be tough. Trust me, some of us have walked this journey for quite some time. 20 years I've worked with young people. Yes, I'm 41 years old, in case someone is asking. 20 years. And it's not been easy, seeing a lot of us fall and then you rise up again. So where is your heart here? Is this something you absolutely love? So how well are you taking care of yourself? So in fact, Mr. Kasaga, we need to work on sessions where we work with that. And we help you because for us to be able to change this country, we need to change self first. The issues are there. There will be many. But how ready are we to tackle them? So just my end note here is, again, ladies and gentlemen, you are special and uniquely made, and your value is so much more than you think it is. And I don't want you to lose that. because without you, we will not make this Uganda the Uganda we want. But thank you so much for inviting me. Let the journey continue because all of you are so worth it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Wow. I am speechless, but in a good way, obviously, not in a bad way. Indeed, Madame Barbara, you cannot give what you don't have. You can't. That kept me reminding as you were sharing, I was reading a story of a child in kindergarten who went to school, and a teacher was telling her, "You're ugly." Imagine the response the child gave the teacher. She told her teacher that, "I am not your mirror." That was the response, that she wasn't the mirror of her teacher's ugliness, obviously. So that's what she said. And everyone was proud of the response the child gave. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to ask you, how many of you were seen as destined failures? Like Madame Barbara, I was among. You were the failure, and they'll tell you you can't make it. And truly the power of words is indeed a great one. It has to start with you when you wake up. You have to speak great words towards yourself. And indeed, challenges make us stronger every day, as shared by Madame Barbara. For example, usually food, when we are cooking, how many of you have ever eaten matoke? They always cover it in the leaves. It undergoes a lot of heat. And at the end, we have a great meal. Soft and all cooked by life. So, and the nice aroma. Thank you, Madam Charlotte. So, ladies and gentlemen, usually life will cook us. But please, persevere. You'll turn out like the matoke. Everyone around the world will get your smell. In quotes, will feel your smell. Eh? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just to sugarcoat and to ice the cake, allow me lead you to the next item, and that's the video, which is going to ice the cake. Thank you so much. Over to you, Spanora team.
My name is Emmanuel Chimuli, a 2020 to 2021 Teach For Uganda Fellow who was placed at East End Primary School in rural Mayuge district. I've been in this fellowship for the last 2 years with my colleague by names of Alan Otodi, who is an information technology specialist. The Teach For Uganda Fellowship has showed me the importance of having a big vision, because when we were starting out this journey at East End Primary School with my colleague, we had a big vision for the school to transform the learning experience of the children here, both within the classroom and outside the classroom, but most importantly, bring in the aspect of incorporating technology in their experience, because we are aware that since they are in the village, maybe they had not had access to technology, so we were really concerned about incorporating technology in their experience, and because of that, we have been able to achieve quite a number of things, more so even in the line of technology. Right now, our children can learn both digitally and non-digitally, and we're glad we had a vision for the school. So I think in going forward, we will always approach leadership with a big vision, and then we start working backward to achieve the vision. The most important lesson I've learned from the fellowship is collaboration. We've been able to achieve whatever we have achieved because everyone was engaged, all stakeholders were engaged, the parents, the community leaders, the teachers, the children. I mean, collaboration, I think, to me is the most important thing. If collaboration wasn't there, we wouldn't achieve what we have achieved so far. The fellowship has prepared me for a career path in the line of education technology, because when we introduced the digital learning initiative at this school, we saw the excitement and the curiosity that the kids brought to the program, and within a short time we are seeing an improvement in their literacy and numerous skills. So I would like to go in the line of education technology, and I have a dream that this community will have a computer school in the next few years, such that children are able to learn both in the presence and the absence of a teacher. The fellowship is such a wonderful opportunity to make a difference in Uganda, and I think all brilliant graduates in this country should really aspire to channel their energies into this fellowship for just 2 years, because it really makes a difference to the lives of children and all community natives. To me, this is, I think, the greatest way we can ever give back to Uganda, by using our energies to accord all children an opportunity to have an excellent education.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your active participation. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's theme is Reimagining Our Future Through Education Post-Pandemic, and we are streaming live on Teach for Uganda social media platform, that is YouTube and Zoom. We are at Victoria Hall at Golden Tulip. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the time that we were all waiting for, and next on our item, on our agenda, it's the time we have been waiting for, and it is the awarding of certificates to our graduates, and also awarding the outstanding cohort 2 fellows, and giving out the Crane Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Teach for Uganda wants to recognize and appreciate its fellows for the great commitment and work they did in the fellowship by awarding them with the graduation certificates. With that being said, as you put your hands together, I would like to invite the Mr. Andrew Muchibi, the Teach for Uganda Managing Director, Madam Charlotte Iraguha, and the Executive Director to come in front as we award the certificates to our dear graduates. Thank you. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, as they come forward, I would like to also invite the Leadership Development Coach, that is Mr. Omoya Charles, to read out the names of the cohort 2 fellows to receive their certificates. Thank you so much. Please, as they read your name, come forward to receive your certificate. Don't shake hands, please. We are observing SOPs. Just pause for a photo, please.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, sound. Amanyire Collins. Thank you, Amanyire, for your good service. Chimuli Emmanuel. Abedi George, come and wait here for your turn. Because of time, we'll be a little faster. Biarohanga Rachel. Cherotich, agree? Chebijira Esther. Naviria Nora. Mukisa Fiona. Anyu Faith Beatrice. Dikusoka Dixon. Hilary Tuyamusima. Kamukama Solomon. Kanyunyuzi Claire. Lake Winnie. Namalwa Rose. Otodi Alan. Roma Kenneth. Namutebi Alice. Wamala Isaac. Wamala Ivan Samuel.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omoya Charles. Ladies and gentlemen, may we stand up and give a standing ovation to our celebrants, the cohort 2 graduates. Please. Remain there, please. And to my presenting parties, please remain standing there as you're going to lead me to the next item. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to the next item, that is awarding of the Outstanding Cohort 2 Fellows. And please note that there was a stringent criterion that Teach for Uganda had to follow as an organization, not the people. So they had to adhere to the criterion to come up with the 4 outstanding fellows. I urge you all to join in the recognition of these fellows as they are being awarded for their outstanding work during the fellowship. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me welcome Teach for Uganda Managing Director and co-founder Madame Charlotte Raguha to read and announce the 4 outstanding fellows. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited that you're all looking smart and smiling, and that you have stayed the course through this fellowship. It's been a very challenging 2 years, but I'm very appreciative of your dedication, your commitment, and your resilience. You are indeed true leaders that this country needs. I want to read for you a quote that my neighbor Doreen shared with me. I want to leave it with you so that as you go out there to advocate for quality education, you should always know that there is no elevator to success. We have to take the stairs. So for us to cause change in this country, we will not take the shortcut. We have to work hard. we have to really be on our A game. And that's why I want to urge you that please, you have everything it takes to be the kind of person you want to be and to cause the change that we all desire in this country. With all that, I want to congratulate you. Thank you. Okay. So this award is presented to Chimuli Emmanuel for achieving high community and school impact during the 2-year fellowship. Could you remove them? Okay. Could you remove them? Remove them. I would like to invite Mr. Abubakar and Doreen to come and join us. Okay. Okay, the next award goes to Mukisa Fiona for achieving high community impact and school impact during the 2-year fellowship. Okay, and our last award, is it the last? No, second last award goes to Oroma Kenneth for achieving high community and school impact during the 2 years. Anna, I would like you to come over and give this last award to one of our standing fellows. And the final award goes to Lake Winnie for achieving high community and school impact during the 2 years.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, for recognizing the outstanding fellows and the presenting team. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me move to the next item. Teach for Uganda has numerous partners that greatly support their work, and the organization would greatly they would have loved to recognize all its partners, but they recognize them. So Teach for Uganda really appreciates all of its partners for the wonderful unending support that you've given. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a Crane Award that is acting as a token of appreciation for supporting Teach for Uganda and its progress. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have the Executive Director and Co-founder Teach for Uganda, James Kasaga Renate, announce the recipient of this Crane Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Raoni. Thank you, team. Thank you, our board and board chair and all our partners. Every year on this annual event of graduating our wonderful leaders who have exemplarily served our communities, we honor one outstanding partner who has supported Teach for Uganda through thick and thin by helping, uplifting us like the crane that is a building that helps build, but also that helps us soar like the crested crane, which is our national bird. And this year, we appreciate all our partners that have stood with us during the pandemic and now beyond. However, one of those outstanding partners has been DHL Global, DHL Go Teach, and DHL Uganda for supporting us not only with the finances, but also by even helping delivering our books to our children during the pandemic and the lockdown when we were not able to travel and we are all on lockdown. So this year's Crane Award will be awarded by our chair to DHL. And we say, congratulations, DHL. Thank you, Abubakar Mayanja from DHL and our board chair for really serving Teach for Uganda, not only in the resources, but also going beyond to the communities to ensure that our children receive their books in the pandemic. Thank you and congratulations. Let's give a round of applause to DHL. Thank you, thank you. And I think
thank you so much. And please let me take this opportunity to give Mr. Kasaga Renate to guide us there.
thank you. And without further ado, Mr. Abubakar, country manager for DHL, would love to say a few words.
Don't worry, it's not going to be a lecture because I'm standing in between you and your lunch. So first of all, as DHL, we would like to thank you for recognizing us. And as a company that employs over 570,000 people across the globe and operate in 220 countries, we are an essential driver of global trade, economic growth, and individual prosperity. And sustainability is our responsibility and well embedded in our strategy as a company. And then connecting people and improving lives is what gets us up every day. So we are more than happy to continue supporting Teach for Uganda because it is improving lives and connecting people. So it goes with our values. And to live up to that purpose, we publicly pledge 1% of our profit every year to create lasting impact for our people and communities that we operate in as a commitment from a socially responsible company. Then we do have our own Go Teach program, which I want to tell you about. The goal of our group-wide Go Teach program is to improve the employability of young people, especially those from disadvantaged socioeconomic backgrounds due to poverty, loss of family, or fleeing in refugees. And of course, by the accident of geography, if you're in Uganda, chances are, or the probability is high that you come from a disadvantaged background. And so, that's a joke. Sorry about that. So I'm more than happy to associate with this program. Yeah, people have been telling all sorts of stories about teachers. I went to England to study as a young man, and they told me there was a certain subject called microeconometrics, and they told me this is so hard. It's the rocket science of economics. You shouldn't do it. You will not be able to make it. But the way the course was designed, they would tell you, okay, we have 9 course units, but if you fail one, we will still allow you to graduate. So I told the teacher, you know, I'm actually allowed one fail, so it's okay. If I fail it, I'll still graduate. It turned out when they were announcing the results, I was actually the best in that subject. So I went back to the teacher and said, you wouldn't believe it. I actually not only managed, but I was actually the best in this subject.
But it was true. It was still the rocket science of economics. So when I see people like you going back in the communities, this is really the only way you can ensure that we all live in civil society. Yeah, because even I, who is standing in front of you, I wouldn't be here talking to you if my mother had not sacrificed a lot for me to actually go to school. Because that seems to be the only visa that people look at before they even talk to you. They say, send us your CV. And education is not always only those papers that they give you. Sometimes you learn the lessons. So if you are somebody who has gone and exposed yourself to a rural environment, there's going to be a lot of education for you there. You're going to become humble. You're going to learn the lessons of real life. Because when you're graduating, of course, most of you are not fresh graduates, but when you're graduating, you think that you've already won. But unfortunately, life happens immediately after that. And then you realize that in order to make it, you have to persevere and you have to be open-minded. And so, you know, for you who are still relatively young, do not give up when you find challenges. And you have already shown a good spirit, so by going to help, and I think that will come back to you, and I think all of you are going to be successful because you made the right decision. So in today's rapidly changing world, education promotes greater stability and prosperity, both for individuals and for societies and markets. So those young people you're helping are the future job creators of tomorrow and the future leaders of tomorrow. Because there's always complaint about leadership in Uganda. But then, if every other leader is bad, then what could be the root cause of that? Maybe it's education. Now, when it comes to our Go Teach activities, our employees share not only their time, but their own individual skills and experiences. Basically, in DHL, we encourage our own staff to actually go and teach. And now that I've come here to receive the award, please do not hesitate. If you check, you know, I wasn't destined to be a teacher in my life, but somehow, by accident of graduating from a certain university, I became a teaching fellow at the University of Leicester many years ago, teaching mathematics. So then, of course, as you work in your life, you gain experience, which you can share with younger people so that they can have more successful outcomes. In Uganda, we partner with Teach For Uganda because we believe in their mission. And sitting here today and seeing a lot of young people is really making me want to sign the next check. Because, you know, actions speak louder than words. So you can dream everything in your bed, but if you do nothing, nothing happens. So thank you. I hope with those few remarks, I would like to hand over back to the chair, and thank you for inviting us, and we appreciate you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayanja. Please, may you give him a hand clap. And for the promises he has made and the great feeling he has of signing a check, another hand clap. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, my presenting parties, for recognizing the great work of our cohort 2 fellows, who are the graduates today, and the outstanding fellows, and awarding the Crane Award. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me ask you, please permit me to ask you to, I wanted us to take a photo with your certificates. Or we can do that after the, okay, we shall do at the booth. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay. Thank you so much. So we are moving to the next item, which is the greatest marker of an event. Remember, for us in Africa, when you go to an event and you don't get that marker, you say, I didn't get this. So that's where we're going to, the cake cutting, and that's going to be led by our own Diana. Yes, Senya. Thank you. As she's organizing for you, and as she's coming forward, please give us some celebration music. Thank you. And I have been advised that as you come to cut the cake, please you remain and we take some photos. As those of certificates join, take the photos. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Roni. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad we are at this point. I would like to invite some graduates, given that we are maintaining the SOPs, some graduates and then some visitors to join us so that we celebrate this day. Some graduates, please, some representatives. I'll not select. I could have 5. I could have 2 girls, 2 gents, 2 ladies and 2 gentlemen. And then Tom Kasalao to represent the alumni. And then Coach Chinyera to represent the staff. And the board chairperson to represent the SMT. Let's cut the cake. Teach for Uganda. Teach for Uganda. 1, 2, 3, go! Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. Don't get worried. It's going to be eaten. So ladies and gentlemen, as I earlier said, I requested you to remain in front and we take a group photo. One take now. So all the cohort 2 graduates now who qualify to join the alumni, please may you come forward as we take a group photo. May we have the managing director of Teach for Uganda, board chair, our partners, leadership development coach.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
The leadership development coaches, that is Mr. Moya and Dennis.
It's time to come together.
Our dear partners, please join us too.
What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on!
Others can be down, please.
It's a celebration.
Please, some can be down, since we want to see each one of you. Please, please be down, some of you, please. Want to see each one of you.
Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right. We're gonna have a good
As you take the pictures, please, our cohort 2 graduates, we celebrate you and pay tribute to you all for enduring up to the end. Congratulations. As you pause with